via its Twitter account on Tuesday morning said there is enough products that would last the country for about 60 days, adding that there was no need for panic buying. The vandalism of petrol trucks by angry protesters forced oil marketers to temporarily suspend the movement of petroleum products, a development which warranted disruptions in supply. In entertainment, American actor and singer Jamie Foxx has announced the passing away of his younger sister, Deandra Dixon. In a tribute shared via his Instagram page, the two-time Academy Awards-winning actor memorialized his sister. Foxx said Deandra Dixon, who had Down syndrome and was an ambassador for the Global Down Syndrome Foundation, the foundation paid a tribute to Deandra, stating that they empowered her to graduate with a regular diploma from high school. Dixon began participating in the Special Olympics when she was in the 6th grade and had aspirations of becoming a professional dancer. Barcelona's president, Josep Maria Bartomeu, said he would not resign ahead of a vote to oust him. He also called on the Catalan regional government to postpone the vote, originally slated for November 1st and 2nd, due to safety measures amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The Barcelona board has asked the government to postpone the vote as they didn't agree it should happen under a state of emergency when club members should be staying home. Bartomeu did not clarify what the decision of the board will take if the government does not allow the 15-day delay. A consortium of fan groups and presidential candidates gathered over 20,687 signatures last month in a bid to hold the vote against Bartomeu, clearing the 16,520 votes required to trigger a vote. Fans cited a lack of sporting direction and financial mismanagement as the main reasons they want to see a change. That's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news and updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa, where we'll return with more stories making the headlines. Do join us. I am Annetta Felix.
To an extent, the reading culture of Nigerians is not too good. A lot of people believe that every other thing is much more important than buying a book to read. Apart from the fact that people just want to read books for the purpose of passing their exams or going through school, hardly do people believe that reading outside that purpose still will help them to an extent.
It's been full of ups and downs. Nigerians don't read. I dare to disagree because, we're 16K followers strong on our Instagram account, on other platforms as well. We also have a huge following. So if at all people are not interested in books in Nigeria, we don't have people follow in the first place. And it's so exciting to find out that there are so many people outside of Lagos in deep core parts of Nigeria that are buying and shopping for us, and they are just so excited that this book is locally available and it's sort of like within reach for them. So it's been exciting. It could be better, but again, we do it for the culture, you do it for the passion, and hopefully more stakeholders get interested in it, and it gets better. I got into selling books because I was very passionate about it, and then I was hungry to find other people like me. I wanted to connect with them, and the kind of books that fascinated me I could hardly find people around who were excited about them as well. So at the time, when I interact with people within my age range, they're either talking about some foreign authors that write books outside of the context that I'm familiar with. So I wanted to meet with other young people, other people of like minds who were excited about the kind of books that I liked. And that was basically how it all began. And then beyond that also, I definitely used to go to some website online to find out what people are what books are a force to reckon with internationally, and then most of those books are not available locally. So they had to either shop from some big names out there. And then I thought, oh, if these books are available and people are actually talking about them, reviewing them, perhaps there might be young people or people in Nigeria as well that would really want to read about them. So I end up bringing a few copies, see if I can circulate within my circle, publicize, use social media, and see how far it goes. And so that was how it all started.
It's actually more like born out of inspiration, and then the drive to bring books closer to people, because at some points that I loved reading, I found it hard getting the kind of books I really always wanted to read. So it was like, yeah, you could get this for other people, and then it's been there for me. So I'm having fun doing what I'm doing, and I'm the fact that I can have access to books too as a bookseller is fantastic for me. Yeah, it's been profitable. It's how you do the business that makes it profitable for you. So it's been profitable. It may not be the best of the businesses in the country or in the world, especially maybe in this part of the world, knowing fully well the attitude to reading and education generally, and then even government's attitude to education, So, but still, there are still people who know that without education they wouldn't be where they are, and then even if they are not educated, they get the best of educated people to work for them. So that means education, which comes through reading of books, is a key and vital role in this life.
It has enhanced reading, but what I realize is that even for those who normally would not like to buy a Bible before, because of the ability to read their Bibles from their phones, a lot of people are beginning to dump reading Bibles on their phones with buying regular Bibles, because they've seen the importance of having to carry a Bible or read a hard copy Bible. When people read from their phones, most times they can't easily go back or even highlight certain things. But with the hard copy Bible, they are able to do some highlighting, go back, make references and all that. So technology, to an extent, it has its own advantage and its own disadvantage to our business. Advantages are the fact that people could, read at any time they want to, in the dark, wherever. But the disadvantage is the fact that it's handy, when you have your books on your media, electronic media. But for those who still cherish the hard copy books, they still come back, to pick up the hard copy books from us. A lot of Nigerians are writing more, because virtually on a daily basis we get new books from Nigerian writers, asking that Latana should carry their books. It's a bit challenging, but at the same time we try to encourage them, to review their books and then accept it for display on our shelves.
We still battle with issues of piracy. There are times where royalties are not paid the way they are supposed to. Publishing houses don't put enough effort to promoting books the way they are supposed to. So that way books and people are not even aware that some Nigerian authors are writing really, really good books. I think sometimes more books written by Nigerian authors are sort of like accepted in the Western world better than they are locally. And also, in terms of marketing, publicity, locally, more effort still needs to be put in place to help us combat issues of piracy, and then ensure that people are more able to access so many of these books as well locally.
For book lovers, I say keep reading, because you know already what you are gaining from reading. And then for governments, give more allocation to education. Allocation to education is very important, and you can't have a government that just places less emphasis on education, and every year you expect your people to be better, and then there are fightings. Any small thing, any little thing, there's fights, and it's all because of the level of exposure and education of the people, and it's playing a role in every facet of the economy, every facet of the society, because people are not well enlightened about their rights, about the opportunities that they can actually get, and many of those things come in through parts of education, and reading is part of it.
for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Hello and welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we discuss entertainment and lifestyle stories. My name is Elsie Godwin, and to help make sense of it all today is the life of the party, Ife Oluwaseun.
Hey, what's good, but man, sadly, no party these days.
Where's
man.
the young to your yi, or the yi to your young?
I thought she was here for a minute, but I just hope she's fine. But
Right.
yeah, but I'm sure she is. I'm sure she is. It's official, so yeah.
What's official?
That she's all right now. She will be. She doesn't have a choice. She wants to leave me alone on this table. I don't understand.
You might say it's official.
Yes, now it's official that she's all right now. It's not official.
Okay.
Why am I pointing like she's actually here?
Well, you usually say you see her even when I don't see her.
No, she's
so I
been
don't
into my
understand why
yard
you're
now.
not
She's
seeing
my
her today.
No, I'm actually saying, what's up, Ife?
Oh, right. Moving on to the conversations of the day, Nigerian author Sally Kenneth Dadzi has announced the year 2021 for the release of her anticipated series titled Bianca Vich to commemorate heroes of the NSAS protest. In a post she shared on her Instagram page, she said, and I quote, "It has become imperative for me to write the stories of the fallen heroes of the Lekki massacre, and I see no better way to commemorate them than via Bianca Vich. It will be dedicated to all those who were murdered for the NSAS cause against police brutality in Nigeria. It's the least I can do to honor them," end of quote. She further revealed exclusively to Plus TV Africa's Tea Time that Bianca Vich is a story she started writing in 2018 about a woman named Bianca who is a vigilante and has always been against police brutality. Sally Dadzi is the author of Stranger in Lagos, The Fourth Finger, In the Name of Papa, and Little Black Book.
Amazing that I see a lot of things, springing from the
NSAS protest.
Yeah, NSAS protest, the 2010, 2020. That date, I don't know, it's a coincidence, but it's a very powerful number. The powerful numbers as well, powerful figures. And so I think a lot of things will spring out from this. I've seen a lot of people saying that we'll soon see movies like Fashola, we'll soon see movies like Sherlock Holmes in Lagos.
Yeah, but I think that's the joke of it. I don't know.
Come on, man. You know when Nollywood gets back in full force, you see Fashola 1, 2, 3. I'm not even joking. What? So at the end of the day, we're going to see a lot of things spring out from this. So I'm really excited about what Sally is about to put out. I think Sally is a friend of the family as well.
She's been on the show, I think, twice.
She's been on the show. So I'd like to see what she has to do, what she has to put out there in this new book. And it's definitely a book I'm looking forward to reading, especially when it's something that concerns all of us in this this trying time. So big shout out to Sally for even, having the initiative to create something to commemorate these fallen soldiers and heroes.
I like that we're sharing our story and owning our own narrative, regardless of whatever is happening anywhere, whatever platform you own, however little it is, just document what you can document and ensure that we don't have, I think there will be a lot of distorted recount of the experience, just like we have when people are talking about the Civil War, what they like to call the Biafran War. So a lot of people have got their own version of it. Thank God this is not a war. at least. Thank God for that. But this is a protest that went so deep that it affected so many people psychologically, physically, financially, and I'm glad we'll be talking about the psychological part in the course of this show as well. So it's a good thing, and I also like to see how she's going to now weave the story around the subject, which is Bianca, and to give us Bianca Vich as well, because a lot of stories from the protests have to now be infused into the book as well. So I would love to see what she would do with this, and we
I
need
hope
more
she got
creatives
some first-hand experiences, you know, to infuse in this book. You know, I wouldn't like it all to be fictional. I like some to be, you know, real life experiences that people are actually recounting to her, and then she infuses it into Bianca Vich, and I'm just looking forward to see how she, you know, spins this.
Yeah. Okay, moving on from that one, social media was quite heated and interesting as various conversations went on. But one of many which caught our attention is the one between Twitter health influencer Dr. Olufunmilayo and Nollywood actor cum politician Desmond Elliot. Dr. Olufunmilayo had tweeted accusing Desmond Elliot of allegedly working on a bill to regulate and control speech on social media at the Lagos State House of Assembly. In response, Desmond Elliot made a video. Have a look.
We just came out of plenary sitting right now at the House of Assembly, and before it finished, Dr. Olufunmilayo now tweeted saying the Lagos State House of Assembly is developing a bill to regulate and control speech on social media. Desmond Elliot is said to be one of those pushing this. So the plan is to deny the Lekki massacre and then start arresting anyone. Please, I beg us, I beg everyone, this is not true. It's totally unfounded. It's Dr. Olufunmilayo. Why don't you even verify? Aren't we going through a lot already? It's not true. Period. No state house of assembly, no state house, not one, has the jurisdiction to even deliberate on to pass anything, bill or anything. It's not possible. It simply lies on the exclusive list. It's from the federal level. You can't. Every member has a right to say something, but yes, you can't. And the only thing I said towards social media was to the celebrities and social influencers, motivational speakers. I said, listen, we have followers. You have followers. Please, can we cut down on the hate narrative? Everyone is going through so much right now.
Responding to that video again, Dr. Olufunmilayo urged Desmond Elliot to release the video of the day's plenary session regarding what he said about social media regulation.
All right, so basically for me, I think, first of all, it has to do with a lot of dissemination of information to the society at large, especially when it comes to transparency of these meetings that they have and when they're trying to pass bills. Like he said, he had corrected Dr. Olufunmilayo saying that, look, it's from the federal level, it's from the exclusive list. But no state house can just say, oh, we're doing. But yeah, you can suggest it. But sir, the question is, did you suggest? Do you understand? Because now you're beating around the bush, and then you're saying the only thing I said.
So what are the celebrities saying that has amounted to hate speech?
But at the end of the day, I'll play the devil's advocate here. I can also relate.
The devil here being Desmond, yeah?
I would say that it's also okay to advise the celebrities, the social media influencers, the people that have a lot of followers and stuff on social media and on whatever platform you have a lot of followers, even if it's on the streets. Verify your information. Don't just go out there using your platform that has millions of followers. And just remember that most of your followers cannot fact check. some of them, like in Naira Marley, let me use a Naira Marley, he said 90% of my followers are not on Twitter. So imagine a Naira Marley comes out there. Now, this is hypothetically speaking, this is not for a fact, and he says it was the Navy who came out to perpetrate the genocide on 2010-2020, right, at the Lekki toll gate. Do you know how many Malians will pick up that story and say, it's not soldier, it's not soldier, I'm not Navy, I ain't do am. They've changed the narrative completely because of Naira Marley put it out there.
And that will stick for a lot of people,
even when you
try to correct it.
Even when you try to put it out there, some people will say, "Na lie." Naira Marley say, "Na Navy, na Navy." Do you understand? So I think it's
interestingly, even if he comes out to correct it, they will say, they don't force him.
They don't force them. They won't even believe it. Do you understand?
They don't force him.
So I think it's a valid point that Honorable Desmond was making when he said that. You don't like the Honorable title. Honorable Desmond.
Why you? Okay, so yeah, it is valid, like you have said. But I also really want him to release a video of that session. Exactly. At least there is a video. Right. I don't believe there is no video, or maybe they need agents, to find the hidden camera again. But at least there is a video, right? So it would be nice for him to put that out there.
But it's not the first time we're seeing people get.
I think this is not the first time he's also being accused of supporting the bill. And I think I know where he's coming from, because when you think of social media and think of what comes with it regarding fake news and what a tweet can actually do, then you also are forced to acknowledge the dangers of social media as well. But in this context and discussing it regarding NSAS and Lekki toll gate incidents and everything, it becomes really sensitive, and a lot of people feel like bringing that kind of conversation in now will be stifling their own voice and trying to sweep some things under the carpet. There are things we cannot categorically say on air, but we know that people are they're being cagey right now and trying to protect themselves as well, and saying, they have been threatened and all that. A lot is happening, right? We don't want to get into that. So looking at it from that angle, we know it's a sensitive topic, but Desmond has always been someone that feels like we need to also be able to get hold of what we are saying and how we are using social media. However, I don't think our government is the right people, or people in government right now are the right set of people to be able to give that power to tell me what to tweet and what not to tweet or how to tweet it. But I also agree that people should be able to pay when they put out false information out there. We cannot allow that to keep happening. So we need to verify as well. So for Dr. Olufunmilayo to actually still respond to say, Oga, we need to see the video of your session, then he probably had someone in the session, he's privy to an information. So we would like to watch this one to see how it goes, but I don't think Desmond is going to respond again. But if he doesn't respond, then he has lost you.
It's not about losing, but it's about taking away what is necessary and putting aside what is not. So what is necessary in this context is are we going to be advising the celebrities, which I agree with, but what is not necessary is saying that you want to control my social media will come for you.
So what is which celebrity right now would you say have put something out there that can be classified as hate speech?
I've seen some celebrities outrightly accuse people innocent until proven guilty. They've called out names. They've said this person is behind the Lekki toll shooting. They've called names. Do you understand? And until it is proven that this person, you as a celebrity cannot come out there and just be calling names of people that you are not even sure about yourself. It's hearsay to hearsay. So why are you coming out to tell me that this person... I still don't know who called the shooting, who called for the genocide. I still don't know who ordered the military men to go to the toll gate.
But based on constitution and what we know, only one person has got that power.
Only one person. But even the one person that has the power, the commander-in-chief is not even the one being called. If we want to be honest. He's not the one being called for authorizing the shooting. Somebody else in Lagos State.
Okay, it's time for a quick break. But when we come back, we definitely have more to discuss.
Honey!
Daddy, please, can I go out with you and Mommy tonight?
Sure thing, sweetie. Get your shoes and we go.
Promise?
You have my word.
Daddy!
You know I wouldn't leave without you, my princess.
Stay safe. Maintain social distance. We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
That money we shoot every person that we know we can shoot. We don't let people die there.
You could have killed me for a long period of time.
That time why I carry gonorrhea. I first go hospital first, but it no go. Now I come make that mama.
He just pulled it, he pointed and shot.
What is the soul of a man?
They suffer too much. They suffer too much.
Issues around the Nigerian police. We have to tackle it holistically.
Welcome back. This is the Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. Following the sad turn of events from lives lost during the nationwide NSAS protest, there were reported lootings of COVID-19 palliatives from various warehouses around the country. Of course, this got mixed reactions from the people. And if we're being sincere with ourselves, you would agree with me that majority of these looters, based on the footages we have seen, are youths. Now joining us to discuss this behavior, the pros and cons of it all, is the Community Engagement Officer at Connected Development Right, a platform behind Follow the Money, an action advocacy-based initiative that tracks and advocates for proper utilization of funds in government and international interventions in grassroots communities, Mukhtar Halilu, and a public affairs analyst who has had several years of experience in the forefront of Nigerian politics, Fatima Oyelami. Hello, Fatima. Hello, Mukhtar.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So let me start with Fatima. I mean, we've before we get into the things stored in the warehouse and how people feel about it, how would you react to Nigerian youths actually thinking it is okay to loot these palliatives from the warehouse?
Thank you. I really do not see anyone justifying the looting of warehouses or private properties. I've not seen people justify it. Even though some people are saying they are hungry and all of that, but being hungry is not the reason for you to go and loot warehouses.
Okay.
Saying they're hungry, is that
rationale
justified?
I don't think there's a rationale behind it.
All right, sorry. I have to come to you again, Fatima. In as much as we cannot justify this looting and stuff, but can we also justify this palliative being kept away from the people? How can we justify that? Because this is a public affair matter, and you're a public affair analyst, so I think you're in the best position to answer that question.
See, I also do not see reason why anybody, maybe government or private individual or maybe COVID or something could add COVID palliatives.
Okay, let me come to...
They are meant to be shared, and it should be done immediately.
Mukhtar.
Not that you keep something in the warehouse and then you expect that maybe when Nigerians are hungry or maybe when it's time for your election or maybe when it's time for your birthday, that's when you want people to...
I like the birthday part.
Mukhtar, so I like that she has mentioned the birthday part. So we've seen various excuses or reasons as to why these palliatives are still in the warehouse. One of which is, of course, the man saying he was going to share it on his birthday. Another is that they just received, I think this one is from Lagos State, they just received the palliative from Kakovid on 22nd of September. And NSAS has also been a reason why they have not been able to share it. Another is coming from Kakovid, and they're saying they had to ensure that they got the right grains of rice, grains of this, right sugar and everything, and they could not start sharing these palliatives until June. Now, considering the fact that we went on lockdown around April, how would you react to this, Mukhtar?
Yeah, first of all, as government, you must be accountable to people. You must be transparent to the same people you're governing. So if the government have the reason of hiding, or let me say, what they did with the palliative, the people should be aware of that particular thing. They have a reason behind doing what they did. But what we're saying is, you're not occupying an office that is not public. This is a public office, and you have to make it, you have to run it as someone that is occupying a public office. I am not justifying the fact that the people that went to loot the properties are doing the right thing. You know, they have almost committed a very big offense. One, they did burglary. Two, they partake in theft. You know, three, they have caused chaos, you know, riots in the society and what have you. But the point is, government needs to be transparent and be allowed citizens to hold them accountable so that everybody will know that this is what is happening. Government have received a palliative from Kakovic, and they have reason why they are keeping it without putting it out there for the beneficiaries to take.
All right, so Mukhtar, I like the angle you came from, and I know that Follow the Money is talking about how the people in power should be held accountable for whatever monies comes into their accounts. Now, I would love to ask you, because a lot of people were making excuses during the COVID-19, the peak of the COVID-19, saying that, oh, Nigeria, we don't have money, we're in debt to this country, we're in debt to that country. There's no way the palliative can get to everyone but the grassroots. But from what I'm seeing, I think I personally could have gotten at least a carton of noodles. It wasn't too much. It's not too much to ask. Do you think that every household could have gotten something if the government had done the right thing?
All right. I will go from this way. You know, as an organization, we have sent the Freedom of Information letter to almost all the states in Nigeria requesting the kind of information we need from them, like what did you receive, how do you intend utilizing it. I will tell you with full responsibility today that we only got responses from 4 states, namely Ondo, Kaduna, and Nasarawa and Taraba states. These states did not really explain what they have received and how they intend using it. I will not sit down here and tell you that if the government did the right thing, everybody will get. But the point is, if the government did the right thing, everybody that needs palliative, everybody that is meant to get palliative will get palliative. But if you really look at what happened, you know, from the first instance of COVID-19, from the first instance where palliatives are being shared, most states have been using palliative as a political point where they give their political party members, which is very, very bad and inhuman. This is a pandemic we are facing. So everybody that is meant to get palliative ideally should get that palliative. So what we're saying is, if the government did the right thing, everybody that is meant to get palliative will get it. But we cannot come and say everybody will get the palliative, because there are people that are not in need of palliative. People that are in need of palliative are there, but there are people that are not in need of palliative.
Okay, Fatima, you are a public affairs analyst. Now, looking at the where it suddenly became easy to discover these warehouses. What does that say to you exactly?
I didn't hear you.
Looking at how it became suddenly easy for regular people to discover these palliatives, what does that say to you?
That the government and that our police failed us.
Okay, in as much as we agree that they have failed us, don't you think that there should be a level of what's it called now, secrecy that comes with such places where you're putting palliative? In as much as we're talking about transparency, I think what she's trying to say is that the fact that people can easily access it. Do you think that some people that are supposed to protect this thing are also working hand in hand with the people because they also feel like this isn't right?
I actually feel that some of the people that upload these items, they are not in the society. They are probably the lower, that's what I'm saying. They are still the ones that are not the ones that will tell us, we did this there, so somewhere there, let's go there. So I feel that people know these things. They just try not to do that. Now, there's no security on the system. There's no security anywhere. There's no.
Unfortunately, the reception is quite poor at the end of Fatima. But let's just take it back to Mukhtar. Mukhtar, what's the way forward right now? Since these palliatives that were supposed to be distributed soon, like the government has said, or some even said that they were waiting for the second wave of COVID-19. I don't know how that is going to happen, or if that is something that NCDC has predicted. But what's the way forward?
All right. First of all, I will say there is a failure from the side of government and there is a failure from the side of citizens. You know, that what happened from the looting of COVID-19 funds will show you that there is inadequate security in the country. And this is what we have been saying, that let's have a police reform. Let's have reform in the security sector so that we will have the required manpower to guard and safeguard the nation, to help the government in keeping the life of people and the property. So first of all, I think the way forward is for us to have enough security with enough equipment to safeguard the life of people and then the properties of government. And for the citizen, I think this is 21st century. It's high time for us to understand that looting government properties and looting private individual properties is of no good to us, because no investor from any other part of the world will come and invest in Nigeria. And that is not a failure of government alone. It's a failure from the citizen, because we will not have our young people employed. If you calculate the number of people that lost their job because of this looting of a thing, you will be surprised with what is happening. I saw what happened in Adamawa State yesterday, where young people are looting tractors. You know, where can you take a tractor? How can you hide a tractor? You understand? It's high time for us to understand that we are the leaders of tomorrow. Without the proper and good nature of the country, we can't be leaders. So we have to be good citizens and have active citizens to hold our government accountable in a way that government is meant to be held accountable. And it's high time for government to schedule their responsibility of safeguarding the people and protecting life and the property of the people. And let them allow people to hold them accountable. Let them be transparent. Let them be genuine, legitimate, and credible in their source of doing. I feel that is the way forward in this nation. And on the issue of second wave of COVID-19, I am not a medical doctor. I cannot sit down here and say COVID-19 is gone. But the only thing we could pray for is let's pray and also, follow the guidelines of World Health Organization and our home base NCDC for us to run together and win together.
Mukhtar, I hear you, but I also want to touch on the parts. I want you to touch again on the part where you mentioned what this is going to impact on us as a society regarding how the international community sees us. So it's most times it feels like we are more interested in what happens or how they see us beyond how we treat ourselves and how we also hold our own selves accountable. So if we can hold the media and hold our narratives to make it feel like we are doing the right thing, then it seems like we are okay. And even the society we expect to help us achieve this are not happy. They are not getting what they deserve. So because you will follow the money, I'm going to read this out to you, which is something that was, of course, on the papers, which says Kakovi delivers 1.4 billion naira food palliative to 107,564 households. Now, doing that mathematics, what does that say to how accountability is treated in this country and how communication is treated as well?
First of all, how can we verify that Kakovi actually did that? The information is not there. We in Nigeria are fighting two things. We're fighting fake news and we're fighting the pandemic. But fake news cannot be existing if there is the real news out there. If COVID is implementing that particular thing that they say they're implementing, let them bring the details of everything and make it public for people to hold them accountable. If you really look at what we're saying, there are 5 things in all these things. There is credibility, legitimacy, accountability, service before power. We must be held accountable. We must be credible before we'll be legitimate. And we must be legitimate before we'll be held accountable. We must be held accountable before we provide service. And we must provide service before we have power. So what we are saying is that COVID should make the news or whatever they did available to the public so that the public will help the people that COVID provides their service to accountable. But the information is not in the public domain. How do you expect us to verify? So what we're saying now here is the COVID did not make it publicly available for everybody to know that this, what they did is accurate. And on your other question of, we've been talking about how we want the international world to see us. The thing is, government is to make a level playing ground for business to thrive so that our young people will be employed and other people will now enjoy the dividends of democracy. So without investors coming to our country, we will not see that development because government cannot employ everybody. So that is what we are saying. So let's hold ourselves accountable and make it a level playing ground for other investors to come and invest in our country so that our youth can be leaders of tomorrow that we are being told ever since when we are in primary school. And that is what we're saying. So we're saying the information should be made public.
This question we're going to the both of you now because I'm more concerned about the people who actually need this palliative and the people that actually need help. It's never too late to give help. If it's on your birthday that you decided that, or that you said, okay, I'm going to share the palliative, at least a mouth would have been fed. Now, how do you think that this whole looting will affect the grassroots? Do you think that this would give them an excuse for them to say that, they've taken everything and then now there would not be any accountability? Because I believe that we can still account for the rest that we have. Some people, sorry, excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, first of all, I will say there is no justification for looting in whatever cost. And it is ridiculous for someone to come out to say something that is meant for public, he is keeping it for his birthday. That is really, really inappropriate. But the point is, the people that went to loot, you will see someone packing something that he cannot even finish it. He will end up going to the market to sell it. The people that are in need of the palliative will end up not getting it because one person has packed maybe 7 or 8 cartons of noodles, 1 bag of or 11 bags of rice, what have you. So the people that are meant to get it are hungry, they cannot even go there. They don't have the strength to go there and take it. So what we're saying, if there are remaining ones, the government should stand up and act upon that. You know, share it to the people that are in need. And I will advise the government should make a proper way of having a security to arrest the people that loot so that the looting cannot continue.
Thank you so much, Mukhtar and Fatima, for joining us on Tea Time. All right, Tea Time continues right after this short break.
Here are the things to do to avoid getting or spreading the coronavirus. Always wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water. Carry with you and use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer at all times. Avoid touching your face unnecessarily. When you cough or sneeze, do so in a bent elbow and not in your hands. If you cough or sneeze on a tissue, dispose immediately. Endeavor to wear a face mask when you go out. Dispose of the face mask properly after use. Should you feel unwell and show symptoms, call the NCDC and follow their instructions. Stay safe. Maintain social distance. Fidelity cares about you.
Today's top stories are...
And the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. I'm here at Eunice Bashorin Street where
the fire destroyed our transformer completely.
Welcome back. This is still Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. And like I said earlier on, we need to discuss something that would help our psychological side. And of course, the EndSARS protest has taken a toll on every one of us, who especially on our mental health as well. Now joining us to discuss ways to maintain our mental health as we navigate the nation towards a better path is Tochi Okafor, the founder of the Excited Living Company. Hi, Tochi.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for
Welcome.
that. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
How has it been?
Whew. I speak as an average Nigerian who lives amongst those that were looted, and I feel it's been rough. Wow. It's been very rough. It's been devastating, you know. And I think two things happened after 2010, 2020. Well, the first thing that happened was the speech that was given to us. It kind of showed the average Nigerian that we don't matter, that we are not on the minds of our leaders. And I think that's where the mental disruption really comes from. When you start to think that you live in a place where your life is not even valuable, then you're thinking, why am I even here? You know, so it's that. And we've seen the memes coming from Canada, please come and marry me. They might be funny, but that's the feeling of many Nigerians now. And it's heartbreaking. It is.
All right. So, you know, a lot of people tend to ignore the trauma or the PTSD that comes with protest, and even when it is peaceful,
yes,
the fact that people are on the road, the fact that people are fighting for something, people tend to undermine it. And then I was talking this morning and I realized that something that has been constant, keywords, I underline them as keywords, where everybody who has come out to recount after the 2010-2020 incident, is that I'm in a dark place, I'm traumatized, but people are not picking up on those particular words: traumatized, dark place, not myself, I'm not, you know, certain words. And I think that this is a call for medical practitioners to go out there. Do you think that we should have more people that will do pro bono services, you know, go from, you know, even when you have a patient that comes to you for malaria, ask them about their mental health. Do you think we should throw that in as a bonus now in our mental?
I think we should have thrown that in like 10 years ago. So yes, we should. I think that, so 3 days ago, I woke up to a swollen face. And I touched my face, it wasn't hurting. So I knew that face was a sign of, it's like a psychosomatic disorder. I don't know if you know what that is. That is mostly when your mental state affects your physical being. So there is the need to have mental health conversations because mental health basically affects everything about you. You lose appetite for food, you lose interest in things that you used to love, and the more that you allow that to fester, it's death without physical death is mind death, which I think is more the worst.
So you said let's have more conversations
Yes.
on mental health,
Yes.
right? And so let's do just that.
Let's do just that.
So if you are going to help someone watching to say, these are the things you might have noticed since the beginning of the protest or
Yes.
the end of the protest, or maybe even after the speech, that should tell you that you should get help, even if it's just a session or just talk to a friend. What are those telltale signs?
First of all, in no particular order, a loss of appetite. I've seen that many people say, I can't even eat. Something that you used to love and you've lost, some can't sleep. So a loss of appetite is a sign that you are disconnecting. A loss for company. You want to be alone. I want to be in my room, put up my lights, be in a dark place. That's another sign that you are disconnecting. Another thing would be your loss for pleasure. The things you used to once love. It could be family, it could be food, it could be playing tennis. I play tennis, I always use tennis as an example. So it could be tennis, whatever it is, the loss of the things that you once loved. So liking withdrawal, liking to be alone, those are signs that you might need to talk to somebody. And it doesn't have to be a professional first, because that now means you have the finances to take care of that. So it can be, talk therapy is not, it's like having someone that is knowledgeable, like myself, talk through what you're feeling and to empower you with strategies to cope. And one of the strategies I always recommend to anybody is exercise. Exercise gives you some power. You take power back when you are able to work out. You take some power back because you release endorphins, but those things, you don't see them, right? But I think that there's power in when you work out, when you exercise.
Any form of exercise?
Any form of exercise. Okay. Any form of exercise, yes. And if you can do it in a group, even better. So yes, that would help you to take some power back. Because at the heart of mental health and mental illness is the loss of power. Is you thinking, I have no control, and how do you get some control back?
All right, so I'd like to bring this back to social media because we know this is a social media age where a lot of people tend to air their problems on social media. You know, they say a problem shared is half solved.
Yes.
But you will now go there and share your problem and somebody will say, look at you that. Yes. And then that could even affect you even more. But you are actually being genuine about you. So what would be your advice to people that run to social media to share their problems?
I think a problem shared with the right people is half solved. So social media is like a world that with no faces. It's just text and pictures, right? So I think that if you want to share, do find
the right person.
A friend, a family member, someone you can talk to. But again, one of the challenges with our culture is that we don't embrace vulnerability. So someone comes to you now, a man, let's use a man because that's how we segment, comes, I'm going through a lot, I can't sleep. Man up, Joe, what's the problem? Those things make people unable to vent.
So we should also learn to say the right things.
So I always, when I do my lessons, I talk about mental health in two folds. First, your responsibility for your mental health, and then yours for other people as well.
You know, the reason why I even brought up the social media, because I saw a man who narrated how his siren went off. He has an alarm system in his house, and his siren went off, and he was so scared, thinking the looters are on the street. And then someone said, we were doing vigilante shifts over here. You are talking about alarm system. That please problem. But we all deal with this.
But you also need to know that there's a disparity of class when it comes to social media. So your perspective is never the other man's perspective.
So that's what I really want to get now.
But I think that even if we don't all have the same experiences, if we all have the same knowledge about what mental health is, then we then feel responsible for ourselves and for others. In that case now, that person saying, oh, we're doing vigilante, that's where we need to learn to be different. To be empathetic doesn't mean I have to be in the same position. Because the guy was genuinely afraid. There was, looters in the days before. So he has every right to be afraid, even if he's a rich man. We have a problem. We in our society, because again of the disparity between the poor and the rich, it's almost like the rich cannot cry. but that's another reason why we should talk to ourselves collectively as a people, because everybody is dealing with something.
Still staying on social media,
Yes.
we want to touch on media consumption now. What would
Yes.
you advise people to do? I mean, the information is just at your fingertips right
Yes.
now. How would you advise them to consume media? Let me not start answering the question
I
myself.
think, I think consume media intermittently. There are a lot of social media handles that inspire. So after 2010, 2020, I was really distraught because I was part of the peaceful protest. I'm all for a new Nigeria. It's about time. We've been here for too long. So definitely I was, excited about what I was seeing. And then 2010, 20 comes and, I'm devastated. But the truth is that there is still, so I was preaching hope after that, because I feel like many of us might not leave Nigeria. So we have to fix this country, because when the world is full, they will start rejecting us.
In fact, it's safe to say many of us will not leave Nigeria.
Exactly. So I started to preach, let's preach hope, let's preach sanity. So social media, you should, pick places where when you read their posts, there is inspiration, there is hope being shared. Because at the end, is whatever you focus on that really grows. So if you're focusing on negativity and how broken the system is, that's why I also am on the side of disseminating information that is relevant. We don't have to know all the truths of pain, but we need to know that we can come out of it. So balance it out. Know what is happening in your country. I think it's very important. You know that there is mishap, there is injustice, because that keeps you conscious. But limit it so you don't drown and it doesn't also kill you.
All right, so I've also seen, I want to touch on the healthcare system in Nigeria, especially where it has to do with mental health, because I've seen a lot of mediocres and charlatans that just come out and say, I'm a psychiatrist, I'm a psychologist, I'm a this, I'm a that. And I think sometimes I end up, okay, I've seen a therapist once, and I think most times I ended up advising my therapist than my therapist did to me.
Are you sure that happened?
No, I'm serious. No, I'm serious.
Okay.
Like, because no disrespect in
I
case
get
you're
it,
watching,
yeah.
sir. No disrespect, but I just feel like I see a lot of mediocrity in that field. A lot of them do not even have themselves put together. Yes, we're all human.
Yes.
But how do you think that we can do better in this part of the country? What amount of education needs to go into it for us to be better in Nigeria specifically?
I think one of the things that has happened to us as a nation is that we've lost the spirit of excellence. So some of these therapists or any field, they might have the qualification, but then lack the connection. So I think that aside from going to school and learning, I have a degree in psychology and all of that. But aside from that, I have embodied the need to be empathetic. How do I do that? Through personal learning. I'm taking courses regularly. I'm also interacting with people. I am understanding what could happen to a person so I can help them the best way possible. So yes, our mental health, our healthcare should be revamped. It's part of the NSAS conversation.
It should be reformed.
If we're reformed, yeah, it should be reformed, because we need to have professionals. And that one of the challenges we have is that once someone says, I have this qualification, most people stop personal learning.
All right, so let me put you on the spot now. If you are placed in a committee for the reformation of the police system, what are the first 3 things you would do for the police system?
Curriculum. So I think one of the biggest thing is the onboarding system. I would like to know what is being told to a policeman. So I fill the form, I apply for the job, I go to the office, I get the interview, and I'm saying, okay, I'm selected. What happens from that selection to when they hit the streets? So we have to review the onboarding of the police.
Okay.
We have to review the curriculum and then the continuous training. Those are the 3 things. I actually have a document I prepared for maybe like years ago, because I've always wanted to work with the police. I have experienced some police harassment, yes, and I know that it's something that we need to talk about. So yes, I have written it before. I talk about it a lot, but maybe it's time
I'm
to
sure you're willing to share as well.
I'm very willing.
Tea time as a candidate.
Taking it back to what you said earlier when we started, you said you are an average person who resides amongst those that were looted.
Absolutely.
So this is your line of profession, getting people to understand their mental wellness and how to live a better life.
Yes.
How has that affected your business? Because you're in the midst of those people. Do they understand, aside looking for finances to revamp their business and build everything that they've lost? do they understand that they need that mental health services right now?
Unfortunately, many people don't understand that they need mental health services. And because the way mental health is delivered conversationally, most people don't see the value of what happens. Because most things that happen are happening in your subconscious, or they're intangible things. So because it's not, you know, when we do, just like when I say I'm a wellness consultant, I do wellness consulting, people don't understand it like they understand business, because business transforms to money. But wellness transforms to life. Because the more that you have control over your mind, over your physical health, over your body, the more powerful you are. And that's where money can come from. So I teach mental health because I feel like I think it's against our culture. We're not very particular about intangible things, the things that we cannot see.
Right.
We don't think that
Right.
is valuable.
Sure.
And mental health conversations are intangible.
I like the fact you touched on that, because Nigeria alone will affect your mental health.
It will. Absolutely.
Let's face
Yes.
it. So what are some of the things that you think are daily activities for every Nigerian that is affecting our mental health in this part of this country?
That is affected or can help our mental health. Okay, let's start
with affecting then.
Oh, everyday stress. So for instance, when I work with organizations, they want to recruit, I always tell them, ensure that the staff lives a certain distance from your place of work. Proximity is very key. One of the things that hurt us is our traffic experiences.
Sure.
You know, I don't know how someone can think they're productive with 4 or 5 hours sitting down in one spot. There's death happening at a slow pace, but there is death happening, because the sedentary lifestyle obviously is not good for anyone. So yes, we deal with traffic, we deal with police brutality, we deal with last mile officials rummaging through your car. Sometimes you're asking, what did I do? You don't even know what you have done. So we're dealing with a lot of injustice as an average Nigerian. So those are things
And we don't feed right as well.
We don't feed right.
So what are things that we can do to have a better life?
The first thing is your nutrition. I was going to say that as well. You know, we have an abundance of healthy food in Nigeria, but our diet is not healthy. So there's a difference between your food and your diet. Food is what we have, that is what we eat. So I think I want to help Nigerians to eat healthier. That's one of the biggest things I do. I talk about whole foods a lot. So we have to eat healthier. Exercise is supposed to be a part of your life, a minimum of 4 times a day. Go for a walk.
4 times a week?
4 times a week.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's how excited I get to exercise. No, 4 times a week is the minimum for anybody. You have to work out. Also, make out time for sports, fun activities that challenge your intellectual capacity. I like to read as well. So I think reading helps. Reading takes you to a place where it takes your mind to places where your body cannot take you. But once your mind is there, eventually your body will get there. So I think reading, eating well, exercising, hanging out with family, and just keeping hope alive is very, very
If I like that she said fun, I don't know if you've seen this video of the place where adults go to jump on something that looks like bouncing castle.
Yes, they have money.
Yeah, we should do that. We should do that.
Yes.
Yeah, we should learn to have fun. It's not just Owambe.
It's not, exactly.
They think the fun is Owambe.
Alcohol as well. Do you want to touch on that?
Yes, fun is not, so there's positive fun and there's negative fun. There's fun that you engage in and it leads you to a bad state. Alcohol consumption in high levels. I do a bit of wine, but I mean, you know when you're going...
We all do, don't worry. We won't judge you.
You know when you're going above. So substance abuse as well is never a substitute for fun. You know, rather, you know, hang out with your friends, rather go for a run. I can't stress the impact of exercise. It's a medicine. When you go for a run and come back home, it is a medicine.
I know.
During the curfew,
you mentioned
during the curfew, I did a lot of work around my estate, and then I felt so good. Like, I'm even still feeling good.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean you have to be in a gym.
Yeah,
You can
just do it around
have
you.
fun.
Even in your home, I have home workouts for, you know, I do Instagram lives for exercises. You can work out in your home. You don't have to leave your house to be fit.
Thank you very much, Tochi, for having this
Thank you for
very insightful,
enlightening conversation with
Thank
us.
you so much.
I'm sure our viewers have learned something.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, and do join the conversation on social media with the hashtag #TeaTime, or just tweet at us at +TV Africa. You can also send your opinions via WhatsApp to 09060005719. Remember, you can catch up on this episode and all our exclusive content by subscribing to our YouTube channel at +TV Africa. Also watch TeaTime on R2 TV and in London on Ben Television. My thank you, as always, to go to my co-anchors. My co-anchor today, Ife Oluwa Oshunkeye.
Yes, sir.
I'm our guest, Tochi Okafor. for, and of course our virtual guests as well, Fatima and Mukhtar, for joining us in the conversation earlier. My name remains Elsie Godwin. Please do stay safe.
We are going beyond NSAS. Nigeria must work for Nigeria. If 10 million a year, you can contribute for 500 naira now. We have nothing less than 6 to 7 billion naira, and by that time we form our party.
No Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian.
It's right time for we to stand up and take our future back.
This is a battle we are winning. We are winning
Wherever we stand in this country, we stand as the citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We want a Nigerian society where the child of it can be it without doing any. Without doing any.
I would therefore advocate that as we protest for a better policing and society, we must also remember that our workers, politicians, lecturers, civil servants, judges, lawyers, doctors, police are drawn from amongst us. And it is those little injustices that we failed or neglect to address years ago that became the convention that we are addressing now. Let us start anew and with a new orientation and a new social order. If government treats everyone as a stakeholder in the Nigerian project, and we collectively see ourselves as such, and all do our little bit, whether anybody is watching or not, we would have reduced the SARS in our life without having to change the name from SARS to SWAT.
Security cameras for the Lokitel Plaza are still available. These are some of the footage that we're going to use for our own investigation. I will not stop at anything to ensure that I continue to apologize to everyone, to all of us, on this line that we find ourselves.
I am indeed deeply pained that innocent lives have been lost. These tragedies are uncalled for and unnecessary. Both our deeds and words have shown how committed this administration has been to the well-being and welfare of citizens. I would like to appeal to protesters to note and take advantage of the various well thought out initiatives of this administration designed to make their lives better and more meaningful. Your voice has been heard, loud and clear, and we are responding. I therefore call on our youth to discontinue the street protests and constructively engage government in finding solutions.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. On the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
It was Elliot Erwitt that said, and I quote, "To me, photography is an art of observation. It's about finding something interesting in an ordinary place. I have found it has little to do with the things you see and everything to do with the way you see them," end of quote. And this summarizes the decision of Emmanuel Edwozo, who quit her job as an international relations officer to pursue her passion as a photographer. Today, Emanuela sees, interprets, and relates to life and people through the eyes of her lens.
I want to take a picture that actually explains what that person is going through, or what that person, or the message I'm trying to pass. When somebody sees that kind of image, the person should be able to get that, okay, this is what she's trying to say. Okay, so my name is Emanuela Edwozo. I study international relations from the North American University, Benin Republic, and I've always been passionate about storytelling. I love to tell stories about things, about people. I love to express myself through words. And after I was done with school 2016, I wanted to express myself more. I noticed that me writing, I wasn't really feeling myself anymore. I wanted to do something that I could pour out myself. Then I stumbled on Bernard Carlos page. He's a documentary photographer on Instagram, and I was amazed at the kind of pictures he took, because his pictures were telling stories of the kind of story I want to tell. And I reached out to him and I told him that I would love to use some of his images for my story and everything, and he was like, okay, fine. But while I was doing that, I noticed that I wanted to take pictures too. I could relate to his pictures. I was connected to them, and I wanted to do something like that. And I reached out to him again, and he was like, okay, fine. And he said, what do you have? I said, I have a phone. And he was like, and I said, I don't have money to get a camera yet. And he was like, okay, you can actually start with your phone. And that was when I started taking pictures with my phone. And I would show the pictures to him, and he'd be like, okay, this one is good, this one is not good, this one doesn't tell any story. And he was telling me what to look out for if I want to take a picture, what's my motive, why am I taking this picture, why do I want to take this picture. So I think that was when I started having a deeper understanding of what I want to do. And while I went for service, National Youth Service, and I started to document my stay around, and it made more sense to me. I was excited to tell my story, or like tell my stories of my environment through my own eyes and share it on my Instagram page, and people were like, wow, this is nice and everything. So I was doing that, and after my service, I was taking pictures of people on the streets, because I noticed that I was more drawn to people that their story, or on a normal day you won't hear them or you won't see them. You understand? These are people that they don't even have a social media page or something. And I noticed that there are beauties on the streets, like you just see a man walking or something. Or Kabeni told me something. Bernard Kalu, he said the streets are always posing, waiting for someone to capture. And I think that was my motivation. I took a picture of a market woman smiling. She was hawking her vegetables, and in as much as she told me that she's an happy person. So while she was selling, she was smiling, and I took that picture, and it was actually featured in the newspaper, Guardian, and that was joy over worry. Like that picture could tell you that, oh, this woman, she's a market woman, but amidst her daily struggle, there's still this smile, this beam of hope you could see in her facial expression. Yeah, I was working with Olori Supergirl. I was social media manager and content creator. So while I was doing that, photography is something that it became like a force, like something that just draws me back. I knew I wanted to go back to photography, but I was scared because how will I pay my bills? The kind of photography I want to do is not something that will start giving you money. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes consistency and everything. And you have to have like a portfolio. You have to have things that people can actually trust before they can even give you a job or work for any NGO or anything. Even if you're going to work for any NGO, they have to see what you've done over time and all. So I knew it was going to take a lot of courage for me to leave my job and get a salary every month. But it was something that it became so strong, and I wasn't happy again with my job. I just needed to I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this thing. What's the worst that can happen? I won't get hungry. I have family, you understand? And I think that was when photography, I just decided to go into it and all, and I started taking pictures. Of course, I don't just take pictures. I wanted to. I sat down and I wanted to know what photography means to me and how I want to tell my story. That was when I was thinking of things to do and all. And recently I was selected for Women Through the Lens, a mentorship program, a 9-month photography mentorship program that would run through 9 months. And the main idea is for us to carry out a body of work, a photography body of work that would tell a story of a particular theme. And the theme was passport identity and all. So I recently thought about what I wanted to do. So I wanted to do a story on football migration. So I was thinking of how will I even start and everything, because football was something that I noticed that in Nigeria, we're passionate about football, but we're not passionate about our own. And the thing about this part of the world is, if you don't tell your story, the Westerners will tell our own story, and they won't tell it well. Because there are so many narratives about Africa, about Nigeria, that, okay, when you think about Africa, when you think about Nigeria, the narrative that comes to your head is poverty, is insecurities and so many things. So I wanted to tell my story of football migration in a different light, about so many footballers that have actually traveled abroad and are back in Nigeria. And so I started coming to National Stadium and Teslim Balogun Stadium. And while I was coming to make some research and get to meet the people I want to document, then I saw the Paralympians, the people on wheelchair, and I was just drawn to them. I don't know why. And I was like, okay, while I'm actually doing this, I can actually do something on Paralympians, since there's no much story about them. And recently, the president signed the Disability Act, which has not really been implemented. And that was why I started making some research about Paralympics and all. I noticed that it started when after the Second World War, when the veterans of the war, some of them were amputated, some of them they were like disabled and everything after the war, the causes of the war. So they were playing recreational sports, more like a therapy for them. And that was where the Paralympics started, and they started it as a recreational sports and became a competitive games and all. They started traveling and all, and Nigeria joined, and that was how the whole story. So I wanted to do something about it. And we can notice that being disabled in Nigeria or being disabled in this part of the world is not easy. And I see this video, I'm so inspired with the way they come for trainings, because I come here every day and I see them training so hard and everything. I was like, okay, these people have a story to tell, because an average person, when you see somebody on the wheelchair, you just feel that this person is disabled, this person is a beggar. There's this stereotype. We just put them in a way that these people, they actually, and I just said some of them are world champions. Some of them actually, they are so energetic. Like their energy, their passion is contagious. So I reached out to the relevant committee and the body, and I told them that, okay, I want to do a documentary. I want to do something on these people. I want to hear their story. I want to take their pictures. I just want to portray their lives, like how they train and everything. And he was excited. That means the secretary of the committee was excited, and he said, okay. Then I met with them. I started relating with them, like getting them to trust me. It's not just something that I'm just coming to take advantage of them. It's something that, okay, you guys have a unique story to tell, and it's a bit of great honor for me to tell that story, like through your life, but through my lens. Okay, when I tried to quit my job early this year, I spoke to my mom about it and my dad. My mom, she's somebody that my parents actually, they are very supportive, and my mom was like, okay, that's what you want to do, just pray about it. And because I actually believe in praying about something, praying for guidance and all, and if that's what your heart really wants, go for it. So my parents, my family, my cousins, my sisters and everybody, they were a bit worried for me, like, oh, how would you start getting money and everything. But their support was there, like, okay, you can actually quit your job. You can't go hungry, there will still be food and everything. But of course, to be honest, I was actually scared. But I knew I was making the right decision. I knew I was making the right decision, and my parents were like, okay, no, fine, it's fine, like, you can't get hungry. So I think the basic thing is the basic thing is money. Like, me quitting my job, I think my fear was money, like how to get money. But then I realized that money will always come. Like, money is not something that I wouldn't leave my dream because of money. Money will always come, and if I stay, I was convinced that if I stay consistent with what I'm doing now, it's definitely pay off. So that was the motivation. I'm so grateful to my parents, my cousins, everybody. They've been supportive. When I started as a street photographer. I go on the street to take pictures, and most of the time we get harassment, like, hey, what are you trying to do? Most of the time people get paranoid, like, why do you want to take my picture? What did I do? So they'll be like, what do you want to use my picture for? And I'm like, no, I'm a documentary photographer. I just want to take pictures. They're like, no, don't take my picture. So all that too, we get that a lot. And this part of the world, we don't really appreciate us. We do, but not so much. So when I post on social media and everything, it's for now there's no provision. There's no provision for us now to start making money and everything. And so the frustration is there. Most times I feel like quitting, like, oh man, I don't think this is what it is, because money is not coming in. Like, there's no money, so why am I even doing this? But I think what has kept me going is the passion. Is the fact that I want to tell my story. I want my voice to be heard. I want to tell stories of people. I want to change things. I want to change the narrative about this country. I want to tell people that, okay, in Nigeria, in the street of Lagos, there are beauties everywhere. There are beauties. There are people that are actually doing so many things. There are people that are actually doing exploits. So I think that's just been what has been keeping me going. Basically, for me, photography is something that I want my photographs to outlive time and seasoning. I want because when you look at old photographs, there's this thing, like there's this environment, there's this way the picture comes out. You'll be like, oh, okay, this is how 1960 was. So I want the future, or my children, they will be able to look at my image and be like, oh, mommy, was this how Lagos was? Or was this how life was when it was like 20 years back? Photography is self-taught. I started going online to check how to use the camera, how to use the ISO, the aperture and everything. So I go on YouTube to watch videos, and I started learning how to edit too. And Kabeni too, Bernard Carlo, he showed me, most of the time he would tell me what to do, what to look out for in an image. When I want to crop, he would teach me how to crop an image, and he would say, okay, if a particular thing is not added to your picture, to your image, just cut stuff. So I also went online to learn how to use Lightroom and Photoshop. So it was self-taught. I didn't go to any school, but I do go for workshop. When there's any photography workshop and hangouts, I go for them, and relating with other photographers, their experience, and telling them, oh, please, what's the best settings for this? And they'll tell you. So most of my friends are photographers, so I reach out to them anytime, like, oh, please, how did you do this? How did you do this? I don't think 95 is not for me. I really don't think that is for me. But I don't see myself doing any other thing apart from photography. I just feel right now, at this point in my life, I just want to explore, tell stories as much as possible, go for photography assignments, if there's any need for that, any organization wants to that require my service for anything. I think just for me to explore and take pictures, tell my stories as much as possible. But for now, I don't think I'm actually going to anything. Just photography full time now. Okay, this is not a regular 9 to 5, but this is my life.
Honey!
Daddy, please, can I go out with you and Mommy tonight?
Sure thing, sweetie. Get your shoes and we go.
Promise?
You have my word.
Daddy!
You know I wouldn't leave without you, my princess.
Stay safe. Maintain social distance. We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent. On the barbing, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
If your endeavor is driven and fueled by purpose, you will find the courage and persistence to look past the problems and difficulties along your path and instead focus on finding solutions. But above all, you must discover something you are passionate about to make this happen. Today on the show, we feature Ibukunoluwa Olukoya, who after years in a managerial position in a firm, discovers her undying love for driving. And today, she is proudly pounding the roads as an Uber driver.
I've been driving Uber for about 17 months now. It's been a very good experience. I wanted a job that is very flexible, that guarantees a secured pay, because I needed to go back to school. And then at the time I needed to go back to school, I needed something that would let me attend lectures at my convenient time and also there waiting for me whenever I need to get back to work, and I can work from whenever and wherever. Driving for me is like fun. I really enjoy driving. Being a female, I feel like we still need to work more on that part when it comes to acceptance, because I still meet some people these days that don't want to be driven by a lady. My name is Olukoya Ibukunoluwa, and I am an Uber driver in Lagos State. I had a 9-to-5 job before that. I had to leave school at a point in time in my life to just go hustle. And then at the time I needed to go back to school, I needed something that would let me attend lectures at my convenient time and also is there waiting for me whenever I need to get back to work, and I can work from whenever and wherever, you know, to just, yeah. So that was the motivation for why I started looking into Uber, and then I made inquiries to see if women were allowed to drive on the platform in Lagos State, and luckily, yes, that was allowed, and then I signed up, and then I got on the road. Wherever, whatever industry you find yourself, you're always going to have good and bad experiences. But I would say I have more on the good side than the bad side, yeah? And driving for me is like fun. I really enjoy driving on Lagos roads. You meet different people, and then it's somehow a way for me to manage my anger and I've been able to deal with a lot of people because I meet different types of them every day. I meet really good people, I meet the not so good ones, the nasty ones. It's a balance. But I enjoy meeting them every day because it helps me, it exposes me to different sides of humanity, like how I get to learn different things from different people. I go to different places and within and outside Lagos, and it's a really good experience for me. So my typical day, I wake up, go out and just clean the car. I do car wash twice in a week. So the rest I just dust it myself, interior and the outside. And then after that, I'm ready to just kickstart my day. I get on the wheel and turn on my application. And then I wait for the next client.
So she picked me up from the house one evening. I was going to meet my friends and it was really cool. I was comfortable. I sat in front. We had like fun, girly conversations and she was nice in general. It was a nice ride. I would recommend her any day, anytime. She was friendly. She didn't come up. She didn't, when I called her, she didn't go cash or was card trip. Very annoying. She was like cool. She picked me up. She took me where I wanted to go. It was a nice ride. Well, I was comfortable sitting in front. I would sit at the back if it was a male driver. But with her, I just went for it and I sat in front and it was cool. And I asked her how she felt driving, like all of this. And she was like, sometimes it's hard because most people don't trust a female driver in Lagos. And then most road users also take advantage of the fact that she's a woman and they just want to get in her lane or whatever. But it was cool. I didn't have a problem with her being a female driver. She was really professional.
So, my challenges on this line of business. First off, I would like to talk about the part where in Nigeria, I feel like a lot of people tend to just categorize every driver as just that being all about their lives, right? So I get people coming to my car and they're just really unpleasant because they feel like, oh, she's a driver and that's all she is ever going to be. Until I a lot of people are curious when they see a female driver in Lagos and they're like, oh, may I know why you prompted into this and what prompted you into it? Like how you started, and I just engage in conversations with a lot of them and they get to see things from different perspectives, and that encourages me a lot. But still, a lot of people still, before meeting me, they just are very unnice on the phone while I'm with that. Bad roads gives us traffic, and then that way we are not just wasting time sitting in there and losing money at the same time, but also we have to spend more time at the mechanic's workshop and money to fix these cars. So it really kills the profit side of the business. But then with time, when you get into it and you get yourself familiar with the system and how it works, you're able to just manage it properly and it works to your advantage. And my experiences, well, I've had a whole lot of them and I have a few favorites. So the one that's changed my life personally, I would say is the part where I got to meet the Nigerian actress, Miss Ireti Doyle. Okay, so that night it was totally unplanned for. I wasn't supposed to work that late that night because I had a very early morning, but then I had a few things to fix on the car, so as a result of that, I had to spend more time on the road, which made me stay out later that night. And then I got this request. First, I didn't even know she was the one. When she got into my car, I know the voice. She looked totally different from what she looked like on TV, So she got in the car and we started talking. I knew the voice was very familiar to me, but I couldn't exactly figure out where I knew the voice from. So I asked her, have I met you before, ma'am? She was like, if there's anything to remember, I'm sure you'll figure it out before the end of the ride. And I was like, okay. So we continued our conversation, and then by the time it occurred to me that I had a star in my car, I freaked out. Like, I lost it. I was so excited. I asked her, are you Miss Iretida? I'm like, oh no. And then she was very happy. I was very excited myself. We talked about my personal life, how it's motivated me into doing what I'm doing. And she took my contacts, and then we took really nice pictures. She put me up on social media, and I don't know, that made me a different person from that day on, and it was a very good experience. And I've had a lot similar to that, you know, because I met a lot of people while doing this job. But that would be my favorite part. That would be my favorite experience so far. I enjoy driving at night, like I said, because it's a lot peaceful and the road is freer. There's no traffic, you know, and I have everything. I have the road to myself. I don't like to share it, actually. So that one, because of that, I enjoy driving at night. But because it is not really safe for a female driving commercially in Nigeria, I try to limit it, because I can't say I know everywhere in Lagos, and going to places you're not very familiar with at night can't be guaranteed safety-wise. So I try to limit how much longer I stay out at night. But so far, I haven't had any life-threatening experience while driving at night as a female driver. So I'm going to say it is safe to a point. Hi, I'm Ibukunoluwa Olukoya. This is not your regular 9 to 5, but this is my life.
Here are the things to do to avoid getting or spreading the coronavirus. Always wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water. Carry with you and use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer at all times. Avoid touching your face unnecessarily. When you cough or sneeze, do so in a bent elbow and not in your hands. If you cough or sneeze on a tissue, dispose immediately. Endeavor to wear a face mask when you go out. Dispose of the face mask properly after use. Should you feel unwell and show symptoms, call the NCDC and follow their instructions. Stay safe. Maintain social distance. Fidelity cares about you.
This Medan has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
When I start hearing the shoot of gun,
whatever I've done.
Every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
As a Nigerian, you can't even look good.
They are all criminals. They are not a policeman. Now we continue to kill us.
Plus TV Africa. Wherever the story goes, we go.
We are the Lucky Toll Gate. The crowd is growing.
And because we get dreadlock, police brutality is too much.
These officers, we are tired.
This is just the beginning. Following the conversation.
The Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigerian Police, otherwise known as SARS, is hereby dissolved.
This stuff where you dey talk now, yeah.
They've ended SARS online. SARS offline don't know what's going on.
Any SARS will touch my pikin, we go die there. We don't die here.
Why isn't the message by the IGP enough?
Without the proper equipment and proper orientation, you're still going to have garbage in, garbage out.
SARS has been disbanded. Disbanding of SARS is only the first step.
It is not a crime that we were born Nigerian.
Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Thanks for joining us on News on the Hour on Plus TV Africa. Here are the stories making the headlines. I'm Anetta Felix. Hoodlums have invaded the National Youth Service Corps orientation camp in Kubwa, Abuja. The hoodlums in large number carted away the foodstuff and mattresses meant for the corps members when the orientation program resumes on November 9. Security men at the scene shot sporadic gunshots to deter the miscreant. A police helicopter was also sighted flying towards the scene. The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on Tuesday announced that Rinu Oduala and Majekudumi Temitope, two Nigerian youth who have been at the End SARS protest, have been selected to join the Lagos Judicial Panel on SARS. The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says this forms part of the government's commitment to justice and compensation for victims of police brutality. Nigerian youth have opposed the oath of secrecy issued to their representatives on the Lagos panel probing the disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. The judicial body was constituted by the Lagos State government on October 15. Rinu Oduala and Temitope Majekudumi joined Lagos Panel of Inquiry and Restitution for Victims on Tuesday. The oath given to them to sign leaked on social media, and respondents are upset. The panel reportedly withdrew the oath before swearing in the youth representatives. And joining us live to discuss this is Mr. Stephen Agiode, legal practitioner. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
What's the provision of the law on this oath of secrecy?
Yes, Section 3 of the Tribunal of Inquiry Law of Lagos State provides for members of a panel of inquiry to be sworn to an oath of secrecy as to impartiality, as to faithfully carrying out their duties, and in events of matters that relate to proceedings that are not in public, that they should not divulge information about particulars of the vote of other members or the opinion of other members or any other matter which are done in proceedings that are not in public. So it's actually a matter of law that when you are made a member of a panel of inquiry, you are sworn in.
Now, you just mentioned that You just stated that the oath of secrecy constitutes that you cannot divulge, what are the opinions of other panel members. So what else cannot be divulged?
For instance, this is a panel. They will vote on certain issues, on their recommendations. If you are a member, you are not at liberty to disclose that this one voted this way, or this one voted this way, or this is how it was arrived at. Those are things that are done in private, and they will be kept in private so long as you are a member. And that's the position of the law. It's not. It's an objective position. It's not a subjective position. The law was made before these incidents occurred, so that's just the position of the law. It's very clear.
And can this panel take the format of live TV broadcast as is seen today, or would that also contravene the oath?
No, the law provides that the panel itself can hold its proceedings in public as they are doing right now. And those matters that are in public, obviously there's no need for secrecy for them, and the law does not say you should keep them secret. Everyone can see them. But when they then perhaps recline into their chambers and consult and vote on matters, on their decisions, and they have some certain private conversations as a panel, as a judicial panel, you may not be able to disclose those proceedings.
And heading now to the substance of that investigation, Mr. Agiode, how can the public be assuaged that it will be transparent?
Well, it is transparent insofar as the proceedings are in public. They are on television right now. those parts of that investigation are open and transparent. But the part that relates to how they are going to vote, how they are going to make certain decisions as to how they by members, so that they will have, I believe it is so that they will have confidence in each other. Though the law provides that those kinds of matters should be kept secret.
And lastly, we see that you just explained that the oath of secrecy...
I don't think it's material.
Okay, please go ahead.
No, I'm listening to you.
Okay, I said just before I let you go, Mr. Agiode, I would like to ask you, you just mentioned that the oath of secrecy, is legal, is enshrined in the Constitution, but the people don't exactly see it that way. So how do you think the government can build trust, and confidence in the people that the panel would truly be free and fair?
Well, first of all, is the Tribunal of Inquiry Law. It's not an act. It's the Tribunal of Inquiry Law of Lagos State. Well, what I think is that the government should publicize this part of the provision of the law. I would have thought that the relevant department of government would have gone on immediately these things appeared on Twitter, gone on a publicity spree to explain what the law says, that this is the law as far as tribunals of inquiry are concerned. I'm surprised that they've not done this, and it's left to lawyers like us to explain what it is. But this is actually the position of the law. I don't think the youth should entertain any misgivings as to transparency on account of what is in the law.
So you're basically advocating for more communication, open communication between the government and the people.
That's right. I think that is what will solve this problem. The tribunal itself should simplify its proceedings. That's my opinion. Make it as simple as possible so that people can understand their proceedings and try and be as open as possible too. Because on this kind of matter too, the tribunal could have known how to explain what the law that said them up says.
All right, Mr. Agiode, thank you very much for being with us on the program.
My pleasure.
And the Lagos State government has approved the full reopening of markets in the state. In a statement by the Lagos Commissioner for Local Government and Community Affairs, Wale Ahmed, he said both food markets and non-food markets can reopen every day of the week. He said the decision was to further enhance trade and mitigate the hardship of recent times. The unrest across the state spread to Mile 12 area of Lagos on Tuesday as hoodlums unleashed terror on people and vandalized several BRT buses. The hoodlums also attacked private shops, looting and shooting in the area. Primero, operator of the BRT, has immediately shut down operation to avoid other buses being damaged by the hoodlums. Hoodlums were seen on video holding machetes and other dangerous weapons. The Catholic Archdiocese of Lagos has condemned the hijacking of the peaceful protest across the country, saying that those who have brought in ethnic and religious sentiments are only aiming to derail the march to a new Nigeria. In a statement on Tuesday, the Archbishop of Lagos, Alfred Adewale Martins, condemned the fact that the protests, which started off peacefully, have degenerated into uncontrollable violence across the country and multiple divisions. The Archbishop called on the young people to not allow the use of the same old tactics of political entrepreneurs to cause division among them and make them lose focus. He urged them to be wise in their discernment of messages that employ ethnicity or religion in a way that excludes rather than bind people together. Osun Health Insurance Scheme, OHIS in Osogbo, says goods and valuables worth more than 120 million naira have been lost to last weekend's looting and vandalization in Osogbo. Executive Secretary of the Osun Health Insurance Scheme, Adeniyi Ogini, stated this after taking journalists around the affected areas in the agency.
It is with a very heavy heart that we announce the vandalization of offices and cutting away of electronics, ICT equipment, office furniture, and medicines by hoodlums who attacked our agency on 24th October 2020. We appeal to all residents of the state and all landlords who see electronic equipment, computers, printers, furniture, generators, laptops, refrigerators, and medicines being brought into their houses to please call on any security operative in their environment. Like Mr. Governor has said, that anyone who reports any of such goods within 72 hours, they will be pardoned.
The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, says it is set to commence the investigation of the sources of looted items. This was contained in a press statement obtained from the website of the organization on Tuesday. ICPC said the probe was necessitated by the looting spree that ensued as a result of the protest across the country. Nigerians had called on the ICPC to investigate and uncover the rationale behind the storage of palliative materials meant for the masses in warehouses across the country. The Anti-Corruption Agency also said agencies and ministries responsible for the distribution of COVID-19 palliative relief materials would be probed. It assured Nigerians that the outcome of its findings would be made public. Following claims from IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu that Igbo people staged the hijacked protest and that of the 48-hour ultimatum given to the Igbos to evacuate from Lagos and other southwestern states in Nigeria, members of Igbo APC in Lagos have debunked the rumors, saying they are unfounded.
Part of the aftermath of the hijacked peaceful protests is the ethnic divisions in the cyberspace. This is not only unhealthy, according to the group gathered here. The false claim has also raised fears among Igbos. Denouncing the speculation, Igbo APC in Lagos in a press conference stressed the protest was also hijacked in the eastern.
I'm not saying that some Igbo children or boys and girls did not participate in the looting. Because when you have this kind of situation that we have, we will know who is who. Everybody will be doing things. They may be part of people that looted warehouses because we had disaster in our hands and we cannot separate who is doing anything. I standing with my people this afternoon to tell you that we don't have the character to put a hand in destroying a place that have made some of us.
Condemning the looting and destruction of property, they added those involved, despite their ethnicity, should face the consequences.
Those looters, those people that are moving around, we have our communication medium, whereby we told everybody, go back to your house and sleep. If you are caught, you're on your own.
They also pledged their support to Lagos state government in rebuilding of the state.
We are saying in one voice, in amity, in concord, in unity, in tandem, that all of us as members of Ndibo in APC Lagos will support the governor and the deputy governor and all the leaders of Lagos to rebuild Lagos. Yes. This is our pledge.
Yes. Part of their discussion was on the rate of fake news on social media, as it is imperative for every news to be verified. Jacinta Obiuku, Plus TV Africa.
The news continues shortly after this break. In other parts of Africa, a total of 21 people have been killed in unrest in Guinea following a disputed presidential election last week. International envoys have attempted to soothe tensions in the West African nation. The dead include security officers. The government had previously put the number of dead at 10. A diplomatic delegation from the United Nations, African Union, and the 15-nation Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, arrived in Guinea on Sunday in the aftermath of the arrest. A South African national was found dead and 2 others critically injured in a crashed plane belonging to the Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority, ZIMPAX, in Zambezi Valley. A 4th person who was still on the 4th seat aircraft is missing. A 25-man search team has been combing the Chowore Safari area, Zambezi Valley in northern Zimbabwe to find him. At least 7 more people have been killed and more than 50 injured by a bomb attack on a religious school in the Pakistani city of Peshawar. Hospital officials say those killed were young men aged between 20 and 30. Dozens of others were injured, including 4 under the age of 13. The motive for the attack on a Quran study class is unclear. Hundreds of students were present at the seminary. No group has said it carried out the attack, which is now being investigated. Russia has brought in tighter restrictions to stem a surge in COVID-19 cases, making the wearing of face masks compulsory in all crowded places, including public transportation. Russia's consumer health watchdog also advises regional governments to close bars and restaurants between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. On Tuesday, Russia reported a daily record of 320 deaths from the virus. Monday saw the number of new infections hit a record 17,347 in over 24 hours. In business, long queues have returned to filling stations in Abuja, causing gridlock in areas that are affected. Some filling stations were not dispensing as of Tuesday morning. The situation led to long queues, which also affected the free flow of traffic in the area. Patrol queues surfaced in parts of Abuja on Monday evening and intensified on Tuesday morning. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, via its Twitter handle on Tuesday morning said there is enough product that would last the country for about 60 days, adding that there was no need for panic buying. The vandalism of petrol trucks by angry protesters forced oil marketers to temporarily suspend the movement of petroleum products, a development which warranted disruptions in supply. In entertainment, American actor and singer Jamie Foxx has announced the passing away of his younger sister, Deandra Dixon. In a tribute shared via his Instagram page, the 2-time Academy Awards-winning actor memorialized his sister. Foxx said Deandra Dixon, who had Down syndrome and was an ambassador for the Global Down Syndrome Foundation, the foundation paid a tribute to Deandra, stating that they empowered her to graduate with a regular diploma from high school. Dixon began participating in the Special Olympics when she was in the 6th grade and had aspirations of becoming a professional dancer. Barcelona's president, Josep Maria Bartomeu, said he would not resign ahead of a vote to oust him. He also called on the Catalan regional government to postpone the vote, originally slated for November 1st and 2nd, due to safety measures amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The Barcelona board has asked the government to postpone the vote as they didn't agree it should happen under a state of emergency when club members should be staying home. Bartomeu did not clarify what the decision of the board will take if the government does not allow the 15-day delay. A consortium of fan groups and presidential candidates gathered over 20,687 signatures last month in a bid to hold the vote against Bartomeu, clearing the 16,520 votes required to trigger a vote. Fans cited a lack of sporting direction and financial mismanagement as the main reasons they want to see a change. That's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news and updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa, where we'll return with more stories making the headlines. Do join us. I am Annetta Felix.
If you live in Lagos or visiting Lagos, the commercial nerve center of Nigeria, and with a population of over 20 million persons, you would notice the traffic is almost a daily life situation. To ease this burden, the Lagos State government have put in place Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, to control the traffic situation. But as you would imagine, it is still overwhelming. Well, recently we began to notice a different kind of traffic warden on the Lagos Island part, not employed by the government but on voluntary basis. They are physically challenged. Ismail and Ibrahim used to be beggars, but after Lagos State government placed a ban on begging, they decided to do something different.
Na yi niyyar wannan aiki, kuma ko da yaushe ina nan cikin wannan aiki. Ba gudu ba jara ba, gwamnati ta taimaka mun, a taimaka mun, ma ko da wani lokaci yana yan san ganin mu za a ga mu, gwamnati ta taimaka mun. Allah muna son wannan aikin saboda ba ma son bara, wannan baracin ya ishe mu, shi yasa muna wannan aikin.
Ina roƙon mutane waɗanda suke masu kuɗi, Hausawanmu, wuci Yoruba, wuci Igbo, ina roƙon su taimaka mana da wannan abin da muke yi. Ko aikin yi ko allowance duk abin da ya samu muna da bukata.
Motorists attest to the fact that their voluntary services have been quite helpful while calling for some sort of formal payment be made to them.
We really thank God for them that they are here. If not, there will be a lot of traffic. They are helping us here very well. And we want government, at least if they can do something for them, maybe little things at the end of the month, because we really like that. We too that are driving always give them something. If not because of them, there will be a lot of traffic over here.
Most times when I pass around, I saw that particular guy there doing some traffic work there. I'm encouraged because one, they are giving them a kind of privilege to also try and use their skills, and they can also add to the society by also doing some other work like that. It's very good. So that will be a kind of an encouragement to other people so that they will not look down on anybody that is... they're also human beings like us. So for me, it's encouraging, and I think it's a very better idea.
I will support them at the same time just because of the traffic men are not much, and the LASMA are not here, and the policemen are not here, the PCRC members are not here, which I'm one of the members, but it's okay, we support them. At least if government can... Lagos State government can look at a way they can just reach out to this one by giving them other uniforms to, perform this duty they are doing at the same time. If the government can be able to reach out to them with some little funds every month, so to encourage them to do what they're doing instead of then going on the street begging people money.
This uniform, government does not give me this uniform. So the work what they do inside this order. Many people that go see me, they go give me something I go buy. So now the thing I go take, buy this uniform, because na him be my uniform, na him be ID card.
I doubt if the community were the one that contracted them. I believe they are volunteers. But however, whichever way, I think the community should take advantage in the sense that they've changed from, instead of begging, they've decided to volunteer their service in controlling traffic, and basically they are trying. I remember sometime, was it early January or between early January and late December, I can't place it, at going close to a roundabout. If you're coming out from it's me and the other ending, there's this crippled guy. Each time I close from work, I'm always seeing him there around 4, 5, 6. He's doing an amazing job there because usually that place used to be a spot for heavy traffic. Everybody wants to move, and so if we are the local government chair lady, or if there's a way we can get across to her, let her just take advantage and recruit them, and even if it's just a commission, it should be placed on a payroll or something.
In a separate event, we caught up with Princess Rashidat Adu, the executive chairman at Etusa local government area, where they serve, and she says this of them.
For the traffic officers that you said you see, they've attached themselves to the local government. Sincerely, I didn't give them jackets because I saw them too on the road, and I approached them. When I see them, I just give them money because I believe that they are looking for what to put in their mouth. And sometimes I call them to the office. I said, I don't want to be seeing you at the roundabout because of your own security. You never can tell. A vehicle can be coming now and something will happen. I am the first point of call. Because of that, I try to discourage them from controlling the traffic. But because they now told me that this is what they get, at least people that are passing, the motorists, they'll tip them and all that. I said, okay, what do you think we can do that will bring money to you? And some came, they said they want to go back to their villages, and I gave them money. I said, okay, when you get back to your village, what will you be doing? One said we'll be doing shoemaker. One said he will be selling provision. And I said, okay, how much do you think that will cost? And they mentioned the money, very ridiculous. But in my own little way, I gave to them. And I asked them to go back. Funny enough, they didn't go back. You will still see these same people on the road controlling traffic. So what do? There's nothing you do about it. Because in a way, that is how they get their own livelihood, and stopping them from doing it will be a harm to them. And I don't want to harm anybody. As much as I want to add value to the life of the people around Victoria Island, I think since they said that is what they want to do, let them continue doing.
However, motorists like Kalu, on the contrary, feels they are not needed all the time.
It could be better when there's much traffic, but now there is no traffic. Staying here is not all that conducive now because I suppose I've already passed.
While doing their bit to ease off the traffic, Ibrahim acknowledges that they meet motorists who sometimes are impatient with them.
I don't forget for that day. I just stopped the one person for this job. The time when you come block the road, I say stop, make it one person pass. So that time, for this man, I beg and say stop. No one stop. You ready to jam me for the motor? You don't know, say, you see me, say me, I am disabled. Why not stop? I know they stop him for nothing. Because he come blocking the road. He come show me, say, he get power. He blocked me for this, my eyes. Remain small, it will scatter my eyes.
Well, with over 1.6 million vehicles plying Lagos roads daily, just maybe volunteers like Ibrahim and Ismail are a great asset aiding government strategies to tackle high-volume traffic across the state. For Plus TV Africa, Amaka Okoye.
Many thanks for joining us on the show today. This is Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I'm Udoka Njoko, bringing you the very best of stories breaking in the world of sports. Well, it's a solo run today, and it promises to be a great show. Well, let's start off with something that broke yesterday, which was later reported as fake news. It has to do with Manchester United midfielder Paul Pogba, who on Monday, the 26th of October, denied media reports that said he quit the France national team over comments made by the country's president, Emmanuel Macron, which were perceived to be against Islam. The French leader this month declared war on Islamic separatism, which he believes is taking over some Muslim communities in France. The Sun newspaper alleged that Pogba, a practicing Muslim, reacted to Macron's comments by quitting the national team. Now, the 27-year-old branded it as unacceptable and used a fake news sticker on a screenshot of the headline from The Sun. The report came days after Macron paid tribute to a French history teacher who was beheaded by an Islamist radical for using cartoons of Prophet Muhammad in a class on freedom of expression for 13-year-olds. Well, Pogba has come to say that was fake news. He still plays for the French national team, and we're expecting him to still continue playing for Manchester United. And both the national team, Paul Pogba, and Manchester United are willing to sanction the Sun newspaper. We'll see what happens in coming days from that story. Well, the other story has to do with Italia Serie A players, talking about two AC Milan players, Gianluigi Donnarumma and Jens-Peter Hag, who played against Celtic on Thursday. They have tested positive for COVID-19. Now, the goalkeeper, Donnarumma, played the full 90 minutes at Celtic Park, while substitute winger Hag secured the 3-1 Europa League win with a late goal. The Italian club say 3 other members of their staff have also gone into isolation after positive tests. Milan said the results followed swab tests conducted on Sunday evening and point out that further tests of players and staff carried out on Monday had produced no further positive results. Milan played their second game in Europa League Group H at home to Sparta Prague on Thursday, while Celtic traveled to take on Lille. I remember AC Milan against Roma yesterday. That game actually ended in a 3-3 draw with Ibrahimovic getting on the score sheet in that one. Well, let's take a break and hear what Barcelona president had to say concerning Lionel Messi. Of course, he still doesn't want Lionel Messi to leave the club.
Well, when I heard that Leo Messi is, angry because he wanted to leave the club, I'm trying always to explain to him and to his agents and to his family that Barcelona, we cannot let Leo Messi leave. Why? Because he's the best player of the world, and because we are starting now a new project with Ronald Koeman, with new players, where Leo Messi is the key. That's why Leo Messi, I understand that he could be angry, but we need Leo Messi in Barcelona, and I hope that in the next coming month also Leo Messi will say, I am happy because I stay in Barcelona and I'm going to renew my contract and I'm going to finish my career in the club in the next few years. So I understand him.
Yeah, welcome back. It's still Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. And of course, you heard Bartomeu talking about the Barcelona president, talking about Lionel Messi, saying that he still doesn't want Messi to leave the club. Well, we'll see what happens next year because Messi just has a year left on his contract, and we'll see if he would get to leave that club or remain with Barcelona. Now let's go straight to Champions League games. Of course, games that will be going down later today in the big football competition, talking about the UEFA Champions League. And I'll have Adeze Michael joining me to talk about this, giving us a bit of analysis and doing a review of those games. But first, let's look at the fixtures in Group A. We'll be seeing Lokomotiv Moscow against Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich have been firing from all cylinders since the season kicked off. I mean, where they continued from where they left it last season. And Atletico Madrid will be up against Salzburg. Remember, Atletico Madrid lost to Bayern in the first fixture in the Champions League. Shakhtar Donetsk will be taking on Inter Milan. Borussia Mönchengladbach will be up against Real Madrid. Porto will be taking on Olympiacos. Marseille will be up against Manchester City. Atalanta will be up against Ajax. Liverpool will take on Midtjylland. And of course, I'll be looking at key games of those Champions League fixtures. Good to have you with us, Adeze Michael.
Morning, Luca. Good to be on the show this morning.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've heard your voice, and of course, I'm sure you give us brilliant analysis for the Champions League.
Okay, of course, the Champions League is back. Usually we have it every 2 weeks, but these days it looks like we're having the Champions League every week. But because of the delayed football calendar, so UEFA are trying to meet up with these fixtures. It's understandable.
True.
We have fixtures lined up for us today from Liverpool down to Atletico Madrid, Atalanta, and the rest of them. I think the big one you would say should be the game involving Atletico Madrid, because it will be interesting to see how Diego Simeone will react after that humbling defeat against the Bayern Munich. So they, in terms of the European competition, they have been this traditional name. They've gotten to the final recently twice.
Yeah.
But, that 4-0 route is not what we expected from a side like Atletico Madrid, known for their defensive astuteness. So it will be interesting to see how they, bounce back from that defeat. We also want to see more of João Felix, their most expensive signing, who these days starts the game from the bench. After 109 million pounds the club splashed on him last season, we've not really seen João Felix we saw at Benfica. So I think he has to improve in his performance. And again, Luis Suarez, who has started life at Atletico Madrid very well, he's been scoring goals for them for fun, bringing his wealth of experience to bear for this Atletico Madrid side. Of course, also life without Thomas Partey, I'm not going to say that I'm missing him, but I think Diego Simeone has other players to call to. They had to, also bring in Torreira, the former Arsenal man. There's Angel Correa, there's Saul Niguez there. Of course, in the middle of the park there. And then in the forward line, Luis Suarez I just talked about. So it's going to be an interesting game for Atletico Madrid. Maybe I think for Salzburg, they're not pushovers, if you like. Yes, they lost their key player, talking about the goal machine himself, Erling Haaland. And then, of course, there's Takumi Minamino to Liverpool. But you say that somehow inferior. It's no longer the Salzburg we know, but they've been fantastic in terms of their domestic fixtures. They will look to see how it happens. I think Atletico Madrid surely do have the upper hand in tonight's fixture.
Because I remember Diego Simeone said the loss to Bayern Munich doesn't mean that Atletico Madrid were totally bad in that encounter. But of course, it's Bayern. And talking about Bayern against Lokomotiv Moscow, do you see another high-scoring scoreline between both sides?
Wow, Bayern Munich, I call them the Bayern Juggernauts. Hansi Flick has done noble. I mean, he's done something fantastic with this Bayern Munich side. To think that this man came in as a makeshift for Kovac, the former man who didn't quite get the result that was expected. But look at how he's taken this side over 12 months now. It's just been that team that can beat anyone. Today they can say, okay, this team, we're going to score you 8. And you see them scoring 8. They decide the number of goals they score. And something fantastic about them is that everyone in that team scores goals. Apart from Robert Lewandowski, who is just on another level entirely. You see other players too coming into the party. They have Joshua Kimmich there. They have Leon Goretzka, Thomas Müller, the ageless Müller. They have sometimes you see their back defenders also popping up with some thunderbolt, talking about Benjamin Pavard. So it's a compact team. It's an organized team. They know how to play their football from the back to the middle. Everybody knows what to do. So you will look at it and say Lokomotiv Moscow should just try and maybe keep the scoreline decent, because Bayern Munich are ready to run them ragged.
Well, if you ask me, I would say it's another victory for Bayern Munich. And for the game between Atletico Madrid and Salzburg, it just might end in a draw, because Atletico Madrid, it's been a long time we saw them score or finish in a high-scoring scoreline in a football match. It just might end 1-0 or a draw. But let's go to Shakhtar Donetsk against Inter Milan. Inter Milan, it feels like there's too much strength, but the goals are not coming for them.
Wow, I will first of all start with Antonio Conte, who, in terms of European engagement, has not been fantastic. He comes to the Italian Serie A, he wins games, but European outing has been his own Achilles heel. He tried out with Chelsea, it didn't work. Moved over to Juventus, he didn't quite make any impact in terms of winning the Champions League. In terms of tactics, he's one of the best we have around the world, but in terms of European, he's not really been that convincing. But look at that Inter Milan side. They have scored quality players. He has been very shrewd when it comes to signings, getting Akraf Hakimi from Borussia Dortmund, the former Barca man, getting Arturo Vidal from Barcelona too, buying Christian Eriksen, Romelu Lukaku. I mean, it's a compact at Inter Milan side, but sometimes the way they play their football, they lack this convincing instinct about them. Lukaku has been the man to go for them. He's been scoring goals for fun alongside Lautaro Martinez, there's Alexis Sanchez. But sometimes Antonio Conte, the way he sets up his side, they don't really get to it. Okay, look at their life in Italian Serie A. They've won some, they've drawn some, not really convincing. But looking at the fixture against Shakhtar, I remember a couple of months ago, they met in the Europa League semi-final. It was a 5-0 rout for Inter Milan. But today is going to be a different kettle of fish entirely because Shakhtar Donetsk, we know what they did at Bernabeu, 3-0. They beat former champions Real Madrid. So they'll be riding on a high. Their confidence will be telling them we can go out and cause an upset to this Inter Milan side. But I think for Antonio Conte, it's up to him to adopt a tactics that can, suit his players and, of course, get his results far away there in Shakhtar.
All right, fans will not be present to see these games. So don't you think that the advantage wouldn't really favor Shakhtar Donetsk in this one against Inter?
Well, I think the lack of fans in the stadium has actually made us to see different results. We see, for these days, there's hardly home and away. What we see these days is especially neutral grounds where visitors come and get all 3 points, score as much goals as they can. You would say the fans are being missed there, but I think Inter Milan, we need to see them raise the level of their game. We need to see them more ruthless in front of goal. They do create chances, but I expect them to go out and convert these chances. Shakhtar Donetsk and Inter Milan, if you look at it in terms of pedigree, Inter Milan do have the upper hand, but Shakhtar Donetsk will say, okay, yes, our fans are not there. We also want to put up a good performance to make the fans happy wherever they are. So I expect Shakhtar Donetsk to give Inter Milan good run for their money.
And Real Madrid will be away from home. They will be taking on Borussia Mönchengladbach. Over the weekend, we saw the El Clasico, and it turned to an El Trachico for Barcelona because Real Madrid ran away victors in that one, 3-1. It wasn't a fluke, if you ask me, but in the Champions League, Real Madrid have not really had it easy since the games returned.
Of course, they are the former champions. They have the highest title when it comes to the Champions League. So when teams come up against them, they tend to raise their game. But that performance against Shakhtar was quite poor. And today's fixture is a potential banana fixture for them if they are not careful. Because Borussia Mönchengladbach, yes, they are the underdog. They are the dark horses today, if you like. But they won't just lie down flat for Real Madrid to run them over. They want to make a statement. They want to put in a shift. So for Real Madrid, it's time for them to bounce back after that disappointing opener. And they also have some sort of a feel-good factor after overcoming Barcelona at the El Clasico. So you want to say, for Zinedine Zidane, you see that he's I think, losing some sort of magical touch. We recall Real Madrid, how powerful and dominant they are in the Champions League. But these days, life without a sign. I think for the first time in 20 years, Real Madrid did not bring in anyone due to the effect of coronavirus. So he's trying to make do with the players he has rather. And then the ones they brought in at the hefty amount, talking about Luka Jovic, talking about Eden Hazard, has yet to make an impact. They've just, Luka Jovic himself has just scored about 2 goals the whole of last season. Quite poor. Eden Hazard, we know his own ordeal from one injury to the other. So I understand where Madrid is coming from. They've invested a lot of money in players, expensive players, but at the end of the day, they've not, gotten value for their money. And of course, so looking at the experience they have there, there's Sergio Ramos, there's Luka Modric, there's Benzema. So at the end of the day, their big names need to come to the party tonight if they are to get something out of the game.
True. Now let's go to Manchester City. They'll be taking on Marseille. Manchester City, if you ask me, they've been struggling since the start of the season. And against Marseille, they should be able to pick points in this one. But it's football. Anything can happen.
Wow, I think for Manchester City, an up and down season has been for them. We saw that 5-2 rout against Leicester City. No one saw that result coming. But for Pep Guardiola, I think I'm not going to put too much blame on him. In football, you cannot always be on the top forever. they've been dominant in England for the past 3 seasons. So I expect this slight complacency, hiccups, and of course injury too. Injury has not helped his cause. Sergio Aguero from one treatment table to the other. He's just back from a knee injury. Now he has hamstring. He will not be available. And again, on Guardiola's part too, he has been overthinking his squad. We saw that poor outing against Lyon in the Champions League. Not because they cannot beat Lyon, but because Guardiola just wakes up and wants to try something new. At the end of the day, it backfires. So I expect Manchester City to hit the ground running in terms of stars. They do have quality players. Yes, they may not have a Sergio Aguero, but we know Guardiola to be a specialist in bringing up tactics that can, cover up for some of these players that are lost. Raheem Sterling is there, who can also play the false 9 role. Kevin De Bruyne is back in the middle of the pack. There's Riyad Mahrez. There's Ilkay Gundogan. So, and then one issue again tonight will be, who is he going to partner at the back? Because we've seen situations where he chops and changes his defenders. Some days we're going to see Nathan Ake alongside Ruben Dias. Sometimes we're going to see Eric Garcia alongside Emerick Laporte. I mean, this gambling is not going to help him. He needs to trust his defenders. He needs to bring in that defensive partnership that will last. So at the end of the day, they can understand each other better. But I think for Manchester City, they are the favourites to win if they get their acts right.
Right, we're expecting great matches from the Champions League. Now let's leave football a bit and let's go over to the world of Formula One. We saw over the weekend Lewis Hamilton, who really performed well as he passed his teammate Valtteri Bottas to take a commanding victory in the Portuguese Grand Prix and break Formula One's all-time win record. Now Hamilton dominated to take his 92nd career Grand Prix victory. Now, what do you make of this Hamilton's victory, and do you think he's the greatest of all time?
Wow, there's been these arguments about greatest of all times between Lewis Hamilton and, of course, Michael Schumacher. Some presidents will tell you they will go with Lewis Hamilton because of how he does his business. He's just a clean driver. He doesn't go disturbing other people from winning. We remember those days of Michael Schumacher. He drives dirty. Because he wants to win a race, he wants to bring out a style that will prevent other drivers. But for Lewis Hamilton, it doesn't disturb anybody. So I think there's an argument or a debate that will go on for a very long time. Some persons will come out and tell you, I'm going for Michael Schumacher, because when Michael Schumacher was still in the business, we didn't have the fast engines and the fast cars we had, and then there were change of rules and all that. But for Lewis Hamilton, he's the man enjoying the moment. I'm sure when Michael Schumacher was living around 2006, he didn't know that a day will come when his record will be shattered by someone, a young person. But this is what it is. Hamilton himself has been consistent. That is the difference between him and other drivers. Ever since he burst onto the scene in 2007 with McLaren, won his first race with the Canadian Grand Prix. He won that. Then the next year, 2008, he won his first World Championship. Since then, he's not looked back. And then what a perfect marriage, made that big decision, moved over to the Mercedes in 2013. Since then, this man has been dominant in the world of Formula One. There's rarely a week we don't talk about Lewis Hamilton. And look at, he already has the highest pole finish to his name, 97. And again, he's got a good partnership with Mercedes, like I talked about. There's something about being a good driver and also having a team that is spot on. Look at Mercedes. Every season, they make conscious effort to improve their engine. They try to bring in innovations that will make their drivers, quite competitive, and that is what they have done. That's a relationship with Toto Wolff, talking about the Mercedes, CEO. So I think it's just good that we are seeing Lewis Hamilton do what he loves to do. He's been around for a long time. He's been doing what he loves to do. Now, that combination with Valtteri Bottas has also helped him, because when you know you've got a good driver, but Valtteri Bottas, every week you have someone pushing you. So I think it's a good thing that Lewis Hamilton is doing what he loves to do. And some persons are already calling for him to be knighted by the UK government.
Nice. Before I let you go, do you think anytime Hamilton retires, do you think another driver will surpass Lewis Hamilton's record?
Wow, I think we sat in our houses some years back when Schumacher was ruling the world of Formula One. Nobody knew that the day would come when Lewis Hamilton will shatter the record and even use up. So I think it depends on the younger drivers we have now. The likes of Charles Leclerc, likes of Max Verstappen, they are quite young. I don't know if they will have what it takes. I don't know if they'll be ruthless. I don't know if they'll be faultless, just like Lewis Hamilton. But it may not be them. It could be someone else. But I know records are there to be shattered. Hopefully, we want to see someone else even better the records of what Michael Schumacher and, of course, Lewis Hamilton have done.
All right. Thank you very much, Daisy, for joining us today. All right, let's listen to Lewis Hamilton, and when we return, we'll be wrapping up with the show.
I could only have ever dreamed of being where I am today, and I didn't have a magic ball when I chose to come to this team and partner with these great people, but here I am, and what I can tell you is that I'm trying to make the most of it every single day. Everything that we do together, we're all rowing in the same direction, and that's really why you're seeing the success that we're having. And I've got my dad's here, which is amazing, and my stepmother Linda is here, and Roscoe, so...
Great performance for Lewis Hamilton at the Portuguese Grand Prix, and we'll look forward to this weekend's race, and we'll see if he can actually get to win that one again and still continue with his record-breaking career season. And for Hamilton, consistency is key. He keeps on going on and on and on, and we still wonder if the likes of Charles Leclerc can catch up with this man who has broken the record of Michael Schumacher. Well, that's how much you can take today on Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. Hope you enjoyed the package. Remember, you can reach us on social media at Plus TV Africa on Twitter and on Instagram. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Plus TV Africa. And for those juicy stories, log on to our website, www.plustvafrica.com. I'm Udoka Njoko saying please enjoy the rest of your day and continue to live in peace.
As Nigeria celebrates a Diamond Jubilee, the sports industry has been on a topsy-turvy ride, and the drawing board is still as active as ever. Sports has been a veritable national activity, unifying Nigerians of diverse culture since our amalgamation in 1914. Since Emmanuel Arinze Ifeajuna won a gold medal in high jump during the Commonwealth Games in 1954, to Hogan Kid Bassi, who became the world featherweight boxing champion in 1957, to Dick Tiger, who won the middleweight crown and the world light heavyweight crown. Other athletes have gone on to do the nation proud on the African and global sports scene. At the height of our agitations for independence in the years leading up to 1960, several socio-political pressures that ensued in the Nigerian political community stealthily stunted the growth and the advancement of sporting activities in the country. After independence, Nigeria's Green Eagles, as it was then popularly called, qualified for the Olympic Games held in Mexico in 1968, and this greatly upped Nigeria's ratings in the world of football. The Golden Eaglets won the Kodak Under-17 World Cup, now FIFA Under-17 World Cup, in China in 1985. These outstanding exploits connected with Chioma Ajunwa's golden heroics in the long jump event and the Under-23 Dream Team's football victory in Atlanta 96, which served as a reminder to the rest of the world the great potentials of the country in sports.
No matter how quality and how brilliance individually you have in your team, the collective effort will always be ahead of the individual brilliance. But of course, we were able to, tell ourselves that let's work as a team, let's help one another, let's defend as a team. That confidence, and that statement gave us the belief, gave us the confidence that we are here as a team. If we lose as a team. If we win as a team. And that really inspired us, going all the way. When we play Brazil, I remember our first game against them. We knew we lost that game, but it was our proper mistakes that cost us the goal. And then when we have the privilege to play them again in the semi-final, we went into that game, having the confidence that if we do what is needful, the possibility of we playing in the final is there.
Many sporting greats have served the nation meritoriously by offering their talents and zeal to the service of the country. It is sad that the expected government efforts on immortalizing these men and women are hardly considered.
It's very, very painful that our great sportsmen cut across all strata of sporting activities have been neglected by Nigerian government. And it is not a good development, and it's disheartening, especially for the upcoming stars. And that is the more reason why you find most Nigerian citizens flying and vying for wearing other countries' color in international events. And I'm personally very, very disappointed in our government, because this is an area where government can annex and improve on our poor IGR, internally generated revenue, and show up our revenue cut across. Rashidi Yekini, who happened to be my client, is still, and we are still crying for Kwara State government to immortalize late Rashidi Yekini. I'm not even talking of Nigeria. Even Kwara State, that where Rashidi Yekini came from, have failed to even immortalize late Rashidi Yekini, not to talk of Nigerian government. So it's disheartening, and it's a very sad development.
The consistent fall in the standard and sports facilities, coupled with the erosion of the sporting enthusiasm that once greeted our sporting arena, has made Nigeria lose its mark on the world stage. In recent times, the country has witnessed the mixed fortunes in sports and various accompanying challenges. Aside the victory of the Super Eagles at the African Nations Cup in 2013, the Super Falcons' achievements and some other stand-alone victories of our junior football teams and other sporting contingents, much has not really been achieved, and a lot is left to be desired in terms of sports development, facility upgrade, inventive offering to athletes, and proper talent development and management in the sporting arena.
We are now lagging behind and letting other countries like South Africa, Ivory Coast take the lead. Is it a lost cause? No, I don't think it's a lost cause. But I believe with more government intervention in the sense of funding the athletes, not really paying so much attention to the federation, but funding the athletes directly, I think we can get our sports back to where it should be.
According to the pundits, the future of sports in Nigeria is bright and eventful if the stakeholders take the right step and make the necessary efforts. Policymakers are advised to reenact sports education as a mandatory subject and extracurricular activity in primary and secondary schools, upgrade and revamp facilities for various sports around the country, and create a national developmental framework for sports. Udoka Njoko, reporting for Plus TV Africa.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
Three media organizations fined over coverage of the EndSARS protest.
And Nigerians are displeased at the oath of secrecy taken by members of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry here in Lagos. This is Plus Politics. I am Kayode Ladende. Welcome to Plus Politics. The National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, has fined Channels Television, AIT, and Arise TV 3 million naira each over their coverage of the NSAS protest and the crisis that followed it. It referred to their coverage as unprofessional. The acting Director General of the Commission, Armstrong Idachaba, announced the sanction at a press conference in Abuja. He stated that the station's offense was capable of leading to a breakdown of law and order. In reaction, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has given the Commission 48 hours to reverse the fine, stating that it would sue the NBC if this is not done. Joining us to discuss this is the publisher of CKN News, that's Chris Mwando. Good evening, Mr. Chris Mwando.
Thank you very much for having me.
Good to have you. And later on, we will be joined by Agba Jalingo, a journalist, an activist, and you can also call him a public affairs commentator. So, CKN, let me start with you. As a matter of fact, maybe I should tell people, CKN means Chris Kehinde Mwando, and he is a publisher of that medium. So, Chris, let's look at the issue at hand. You know, most times when issues like this happen, I'm talking as a media practitioner, we are always working on eggshells. We're always looking at looking at the code. What have we done? What have we not done wrong? In this case, do you think this is the time NBC should be coming with its usual sledgehammer?
Thank you very much once again, Kay. The timing is wrong. The atmosphere is not conducive for this. And I just feel that rather than commending the various media houses, both print and electronic, and even those online, the NBC is coming out with a fine of this nature. This to me does not portray progress in our democratic setting. This is taking us back to 1984, the days of Decree 4. And I believe that media houses should be allowed to be able to operate unhindered. But that does not necessarily mean that there should not be any level of check and balances. If there are areas where the media houses erred, yes, the necessary sanction should be meted out. But in this case, I don't see any reason for that. And even over and above that, if there are any areas where these media houses erred, there are still organizations governing these media houses. Like we have the BON, which is the umbrella body that handles and regulates activities and actions of broadcast industries. Just like we have MPAN for the print, I believe that BON, NBC as it were, would have directed their whatever observation they made to BON to investigate. And it's after that has been done that you can now start imposing sanctions. So this to me is not right. To some of us, is a way of just muzzling the media, which to me is not acceptable.
Okay, let's also, for the purpose of the public, so that I know this can be very tempting, but we'll try as much as possible to be objective, to look at the issues as they are before we look at what SERAP has done. Now, what exactly constitutes, threat to the public peace, which seems to be the section being, highlighted by NBC? I don't have the details of that particular sanction. What we have in the press is the fact that they've been sanctioned. But in the course of the program, I will read out that particular pre-warning that was given to media houses before this extension was handed down. So what exactly constitutes public interest that the media is being accused of not representing?
Well, it is for NBC to be explicit. They weren't explicit in their press statement on that. But what we're able to gather is that it has to do with the footage or video footage of the shooting at Lekki toll gate, which to them was not verified, and there have been denials here and there. But even if the NBC said that is not verified, there was no shooting there, according to them, if that's what they meant. The Lagos State Governor, His Excellency Sanwo-Olu, yesterday on CNN categorically stated that the shooting was by the Nigerian army. He was very, very categorical about that, and also said that there was shooting. So, and the way the practice across the globe, when those footage is used, is not well verified. Most often than not, the media houses will say, well, this footage has not been verified by us. That happens on CNN, that happens on Al Jazeera, that happens on BBC, that happens on Sky News, that happens on Force, and that happens in major broadcasting stations across the globe. And that is what most of these broadcasts. So, as far as that case is concerned, they are the activities is in tandem with broadcasting code. So I don't know the code that the NBC is using. Don't forget, a few weeks back, the same NBC came out hard on a radio station based in Lagos, Nigeria Info, and also placed certain fines. So I don't think this is the right way to go. Because if you continue to suppress the voice, the media is the voice of the people. And when you continue to try to step in as try to impose sanction on those voices, then you are creating rules for rumor. You are creating room for fake news, which is what the government is also fighting against. Just today, the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, while appearing in the National Assembly, was saying that one of the greatest challenges facing the country now is fake news. So if the mainstream, you are trying to prevent the mainstream broadcasting industries from pushing out information, you will now be left with nothing but fake news through other medium, and that in itself is dangerous. And that is what we're talking about.
Okay, Chris Nwando, I'll quickly take a break, and then we'll bring in Agbe Jalingo into the conversation. Then we'll be quoting some of these sections so that the people will know what exactly must have gone wrong. Please don't go anywhere.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show. A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years. 10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
Welcome back. It's still Plus Politics, and we're looking at the sanction hammered on 3 media houses during the NSAS protest. We have joining us Agba Jalingo, a journalist, an activist, and a public affairs commentator. We still have Chris Kehinde Madu, the publisher of CKN News, still with us. Well, let me bring Agba Jalingo into this conversation. What's your immediate reaction? Were you expecting this from NBC? And what exactly do you think these media houses actually did wrong?
There's no way I would have expected that the NBC will attempt to gag any media organization because of the role that they played in the NSAS protest. I will be very wrong if I tell you I was expecting it. So as a matter of fact, I was taken aback by the fact that even with the wonderful work that some of the media organizations did, that the NBC was going to even contemplate sanctioning them. I don't want to call names of some specific organizations, but I know one of them that was on the story for such a time that the whole of Nigeria saw that station as the source of information that was happening about what was going on the street. And it is very, very unfortunate and disappointing that the NBC, rather than helping Nigerians to encourage and develop this process of democracy, have joined the oppressors of this country to see how they can shut the civic space. But I want to tell you something. The truth of the matter is that the NBC Act itself that gave them the powers to do what they are doing has outlived its relevance. It's a decree of the military rule, Decree 38 of 1992. We do not need that law again in this country. Even if we still need it,